Hello everybody, and welcome to another Component Cast show, our third episode of Tricogha Nights, brought to you here by us. Before we get on with tonight's broadcast, of course, a few little extra housekeeping thingamabobs and majigs. We have our normal things to run. First things first is I want to quickly thank, before it's even happened, Surelyonlymikey this week, because I'm going to be running in a moment. I'm running off to go do something, and I'll be back for the last bit of the stream. So he's going to be running the show, controlling my computer. So big up for him. He literally jumped in with that about an hour ago to make sure that we can bring you the show tonight. So big extra props to him. And then also we need to do our normal sponsor reads. So before we go anywhere, thank you to Sirenscape, who allow us to bring the audio for the show to life. You can get... Sirenscape is free if you go to their website. You can go on your iOS devices and download a free app. Go to sirenscape.com. Yeah, I am. You can tell. I'm nervous about things and I'm just trying to manage my time. You can go to sirenscape.com or go to our links in the panels in the About section on Twitch or in the description on YouTube. Links to that. And when you go, if you get the iOS app, you get 20 free sounds to get yourself started. It's really interesting. Go have a play. Have some fun with it. You don't even need to be DMing a game. Just go have some fun with some sound effects. I mean, you could do all sorts with it. And next up, we also need to thank our artists for this show. We have our amazing artist, Seven. And if, Mikey, you'd love to plug them in the chat. Seven is our artist for this streaming event. They are, if you need anthropomorphic characters made up, they are probably the perfect artist for you. And we really endorse their work. And then finally, Roach, what game are we playing?
This campaign, we are playing Urban Jungle, which is anthropomorphic roleplay in the noir kind of genre, set during the turn of the century. Made by Sanguine Productions. It's currently available. Well, it's available on DriveThruRPG, and it is currently for 4 weeks in a row now. I don't know if this is the normal price now or if they're just on a forever sale, but it's still pretty cheap. Like it's like I think it's like a 25% discount or something ridiculous, something like that. So yeah, if you want a copy of it, it's available there, and you can get a physical copy as well on a print-on-demand service because DriveThruRPG does that, and they're kind of awesome when it comes to that. It's like it literally is 25% off or something like that. It's like $100, and it goes down to 25 for both. So it's awesome. It's a great rule set. We're enjoying it quite a bit, and I highly recommend it. So,
but without further ado, let's get on with tonight's broadcast.
Tricogha. It's a city of dreams, they say. They might have even been right once upon a time. But now, it's a rotting, corrupt corpse on a hill. When the nation went dry, a few saw the potential, saw the money that was waiting for them. Now, you can't go a block without passing a speakeasy, even if you can't see it. And you'd be surprised just how many upstanding citizens you'll find at a table with a glass in their hands. These can't help but want money or power. Problem is when both of those mix away from the light of the law. Corruption, exploitation, and murder. It's all just another night in Tricogha.
And we're back. Roach, over to you.
all right. Well, last session, we had a fairly interesting go. All of you had you had a bit of a split party, actually. Some of you went to go do a certain thing, others went to a party where you schmoozed with the higher class of Tricogha. Well, both of you, which was La Pan and or La Pan. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. La Pan and the Alderman Jack. You both went to the party. La Pan, you mostly going for just to find something to pocket. It seemed like. And Alderman Jack, you actually had a mission from a higher ranked individual that you owed some favors to, of which you were able to successfully conduct that mission by giving a packet of information to the head of the dock authority and getting Mr. Barron's shipments through without too much of a second look, whatever those shipments contain. While this was all going on, the rest of the party were sent out to talk some sense into a nosy mouse that was the reason for this whole spat. Unbeknownst to you, apparently he was not just nosy to Mr. Barron and his crime organization, but also to others in the city who had a similar but more violent idea of how to handle the situation, of which you found in the middle of. After a bit of an armed standoff for a little while, you were able to successfully, without firing a shot, intimidate the crap out of them enough to get them to leave. At which point, using that to kind of pivot and intimidate the mouse into just looking the other way and not finish the report he was making on illegal smuggling in the Tricogha ports. All around fairly successful, no guns shots or death on either side, so that was great. You all kind of went home, you talked amongst yourselves, various ones that are living in the same house, which is funny enough, 3 of you are living in the same property at this point, but we're able to offload some information. Also, one other thing, Lena La Pan was able to get a document, or at least a copy of a document that may or may not lead back to some criminal activity by the mayor, and was used that as some leverage when confronted about her true nature when Alderman Jack brought that up on their way back from the party. And that's where we kind of let off with you being let back, or were you being let out of the vehicle and you going up to your suite?
I was going up, back up to my hotel room.
Yeah. So, sound. Wait a second. I'm dealing with Sirenscape. This is why I couldn't do this, Mikey, because I have Sirenscape I got to keep manage as well. Then all you.
Hey.
You have us to manage, which is hard.
Hey, I'd do it all on a Monday.
Casual, weird flex, but okay.
No, but it's also Roach's internet. It barely, keeps us
It barely
alive here.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So, we start up the next morning. So, a little bit loud on my end.
Oh, I just turned it down, but yeah, cool.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got you. The next morning, which, if I am correct about this, was, I think a Thursday. I don't know.
April the 21st, Thursday.
Yes, April the 21st. Thank you, Red. You are very good about notes. April the 21st, Thursday. It is a sunny morning in Tricogha. There is no rain as there has been previously, and the temperature is fairly high. We enter into to a familiar penthouse suite in a hotel. Lena La Pan. You did not have much of a successful night last night when it came to acquiring profit. Or just items.
Yeah, no, not a lot.
Not a lot. You came back with your little money off of your date. A gold fountain pen and some juicy information.
Which I got paid for. I was gonna ask, is the pen monogrammed or personalized?
It is. It has the initials of the mayor.
Interesting. Okay.
No. And it's the nice, well balanced pen. It's good. It's one of those fountain pens. Really nice. But as you have been informed, and as you are well aware, it's expensive in this suite. Something has to change.
And it will. Lena is going to do some looking around today for a room or two in a boarding house. Quite a nice one. Preferably close to a church. Preferably Catholic. And kind of
bit harder in the Midwest, but yeah, that could be done.
I said preferably, and just sort of a reasonably nice area, but a couple of rooms in a boarding house, preferably with meals, but certainly less expensive long term for boarding. Because she feels like she's going to stay in the city for a bit longer than she was expecting.
Right. Okay. Why don't then we'll say that's kind of like that's your daily activity. We'll go we'll be spending most of the day kind of just going around and checking, seeing about that. Just give me a general. I'm gonna say probably a mind. I'd say mind observation works for this because you're kind of just going around trying to find a specific. Okay, so that's 3 successes. It's quite a bit. Which means you don't take the whole day on this, actually. You're able to find a fairly... It's not as good as where you were staying before, but where you're
She wasn't expecting that.
Very expensive. What's the other one? So, you find a boarding house in actually what looks to have been at one point like a family home. In the bye, Midge.
Goodbye.
In the north central district of the city, specifically in Graham, which is the Graham part of the north central district. It's nice. It's near the waterfront-ish. There's quite a few churches nearby, including one Catholic church, which is, again, harder to find in the Midwest because it's a lot of German immigrants and everything. A lot of
high Protestant
churches. Yeah. But you do find one, and it is headed up by a kind of how do I want to describe her? Just a very tall, lanky, deer. I guess a female deer that's not a fawn.
A doe.
A doe. A deer.
No.
A female.
A deer. God darn it. Yeah. Very tall doe. So it's just like it's kind of it's already pretty thin as a species go, but even more so because she's very tall but maintains kind of the same weight. So just this like stick kind of figure.
Stretched out.
very stretched out, like somebody on Photoshop didn't keep the proportions when they were pulling it up. Yeah. And she goes by Patricia.
Miss Patricia?
Yes, dear.
No, I was asking whether she went by Miss Patricia.
Yes, she goes by that. She is offering you a room. It's on the third floor of the house. It's like one out of the way. Looks to have been maybe a widower at some point or something. It's not as popular as a boarding house goes. It's not the boarding house kind of runs the gambit between really cheap, like what our resident Harry Neville was in, to like very nice. This is kind of middle of the road, and this isn't the time of year usually when those are very popular right here. So you've kind of got the run of the house. Moderate expense. You could probably stay there for a while before really kind of using up the last of your funds.
Cool. And this is going to be harder. I want to, because when she sees a monogram on because she was just going to pawn the pen, but when she sees the monogram, it sort of ticks something over in her brain, and rather than a pawn shop, can she find an actual fence?
Actual fence. You just roll me a d20. I want to see if she's done work with a fence in the city before.
Yeah, that's what half of what I'm asking, because obviously she did the job previously. 11.
See, yeah, but it depends on if you were directly contracted to work a job. You wouldn't need a fence to get that. So that's kind of the thing. You weren't necessarily freelance. You don't really have a fence that you know of in the city, but you are somewhat connected to various elements of criminal activity in certain circles. So there's a chance you might be able to find something. But you'd have to spend time and you'd have to find those contacts, which you'd have to go around to a couple of the speakeasies and try and find.
Yeah, because she doesn't know that Harry's in town yet, and Roman doesn't seem like the kind of guy to steal stuff, and it's certainly not going to be Andrews knowing anything, and she doesn't know Larence exists, so...
I want to see how long we can get this campaign to go without...
Technically, she hasn't met Harry either. She's heard of him, like he's heard of her, but they've never met.
She probably hasn't even heard of him, because he's very much a small town tea leaf.
Mm.
Yeah. So we'll say you're planning on doing that today. You have to move some of your items from the hotel to the boarding house. It's gonna take a bit. So that's like what you do during the day portion.
Sounds good.
Now, yeah, this track, it feels like this is like the intro to like a 90s sitcom or something like that. Or no, this is the track during the B-roll when it's establishing like a shot. Like that plays. That's Axe. Yeah, definitely. We go to the Alderman's estate, in which 3 individuals with the rest of the party are in, except for one. So as you know, Jack, and I'm going to use Jack because the other Jack isn't here, so you get that name at least for another couple hours. You have been told that your boss is going out campaigning kind of above board. Can't really have you there as much. He's taken Freddy, the young coyote bodyguard, as his protection, or really just protecting the car when he's there. So you kind of have the day to yourself. It's one of those rare days where you're not expected to really do anything. It's after, a major kind of mission or action. So you're kind of in that lull period before you got something else to do. So what does Jack get up to?
I don't know.
It's your character, so I can't tell you what you do.
Okay, so Jack can't go with the Alderman. Not entirely sure why. I'm not entirely sure Jack's happy about that.
Needs a more friendly face for the public.
He's a coyote. The only thing they're expecting him to do is build something that blows up.
I mean, he's not wrong.
They're expecting him to have behind him dragging a crate that says acne on the side.
It's very speciesist right now.
I'm a Black Panther. There's not much that I really care about when it comes to species. If anyone says anything, I normally just eat them.
So,
I think I think the boss is being a little bit too confident with everything that's going on. It's my job to protect him. So I think I'm going to take Harry, and we're going to go and ask around the more of the less reputable areas of town about Miss La Pan.
Miss La Pan. Okay.
Because Harry has some knowledge of her.
I know some people as well.
Exactly. So we're going to go and do that.
Okay. Well, I'll say then Jack Roman definitely had, like, the less reputable parts of town fairly well. And I'd say Harry, while maybe not being as like familiar with a lot of it, it's a lot of this stuff's universal. It's not it's not as split apart by region as people like to think. So you definitely know that it'd be a bit easier later in the day. Closer you get to night, the more establishments open that you can easily kind of gather some information. Unless you're more doing it instead of like going to an establishment to like talk with a couple of people that might know something, you're more doing something like shaking down somebody like in an alley. Is that what you're planning, or is it more just you're passively gathering information as a...
I don't mind a shakedown if I get what's in his pockets.
We're not shaking anyone down. Yet.
Mate, I'm skidding here.
Yet.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, what's the one person in pretty much every establishment that always knows what's going on?
Barman.
There you go.
Damn it.
Oh, that one wasn't a very difficult one, now was it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
like,
but I
in the
just
old
had
country.
to help him get into the story.
Yeah, in the old country,
it works. I
it's
had
the
some
landlord.
things. Yeah. I had some things that might have helped, but
I
it's
had
good.
to make
That's
sure my son had something to do, because I know what happens if you leave him on his own to his own devices.
Yeah, it's a very
lifting
A-team.
weights and getting shredded.
Yeah, it's a very A-team moment right there. I love it when a plan comes together. You would know this actually. You would know where your new hire is at, because that's you kind of manage a lot of the personnel when it comes to things. So the number that was given to The Alderman, you have a copy of. And because it's the 1920s, it's actually kind of easy to get somebody's exact location, at least of their residence, just a phone number, with just a phone number, because you can just call a directory. And they will, that's public information, unless it's specifically not. Which, yeah. So, if you wanted to, you definitely know where you could find our dear Mr. Larence O'Shea, unless you wanted to find him at his job.
No, I think, you know, he's a hardworking man. Just knock on his door first thing in the morning.
Right. That's totally what you do.
Not terrifying at all.
Yeah.
Larence has just gotten into bed.
Don't want to know.
He works at night, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say works night shifts. You can do that. If you decide to both go, you can locate Mr. O'Shea's apartment all the way out at, I believe we said, was he at, he's definitely out on the west side, but I forgot which his, I gotta have a separate note where I have all, yeah, Davis Heights on the west side. So yeah, pretty far out there. Linearly, actually not that far from where your location is. It's mostly just the fact that there's not a lot of direct roads to the west side from like the better parts of town. But you're able to get there with a mix of pedestrian travel and trolley rides to get to where you need to go. West side, by the way, I think just to highlight it, west side's more of like a it's a bit of a lower class area of town, and it's a kind of a mixing pot of Tricogha. A lot of people from a lot of different places kind of mix here. So it's kind of one of those places you'd equally expect to find like somebody selling like Polish sausages next to an individual who's like frying up like a roast duck or something like that, like kind of that kind of closeness on these like market stalls. Yeah, you find his apartment. It's a little multi-story building, and it doesn't take you long because it's all kind of listed, because security's not really a thing back then. At the front where the mail slots are, each room with the name of the individual in the room, and then the mail slot next to it. So it's great to identify, and he's just a couple of flights of stairs up.
We climb the stairs.
We climb the stairs, yeah. I was taking a drink.
We're climbing.
There's a loading screen going on right now.
Yeah. I'm getting notes together. God damn it.
Still climbing. God, this is a lot of stairs for just two flights.
Give me a check for climb.
This is the Mass Effect 1 elevators right now, is what this is.
Yeah.
Is Harry just standing
Don't you
exactly the
miss
same
those long
position?
conversations we had in the elevators? No.
No.
Tell me about your immune system. So, you got up to his room, and you've got his door, you know where he's at. So you're just knocking and trying to wake him up. Okay. Larence. The thing is, you actually didn't work last night because you were working with Roman.
Yeah.
So you've actually had a full night's sleep. This is one of those.
You're a lazy sod, is what he's trying to say.
All right, Dad.
You've had so you had a full night's sleep, which is a rarity, and it's kind of been one of those mornings where, if you've been like living on your own before, it's just like you don't have anything to do, you're not working, and you don't own enough possessions to entertain yourself that well. You're just kind of in a fairly empty.
He's like doing push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that, because he's like, well, what else am I gonna do? So he's keeping himself fit.
Yeah, that, or if you are somebody who usually works nights, usually you just take the extra opportunity to sleep in more.
Yeah. Now, in his case, he's like, I'm awake now, and I cannot fall back asleep, so sit-ups, press-ups, that sort of stuff. He's doing
Right.
what you could do. Yeah.
Got it. And you hear a knock at your door.
He like grabs his towel, wipes down his face, slings it across his shoulders, and goes over to the door and looks at the people.
Yeah, you see
Push talk.
Push Talk.
Sees a smiling Black Panther on the other side, which is just basically a row of teeth.
Bang, bang, bang through the door. All right. He's like kind of not perturbed, like not even worried. He's like, why are you? He's just curious as to why he's already back, which kind of makes him worried a little bit at the end of that. But then he's like, boss,
You gonna open the door or what?
all right, and he just opens the door because he's like, bunch of dudes, why not?
Looks him up and down. We're interrupting something?
Not really. Just keep myself entertained. Lots of scars, like knife wounds, maybe a bullet hole here or there.
So we're gonna talk in the hall?
Come on in. I'd offer you something to drink, but I'm all dry.
I'm not here to drink anyway.
Water? Actually, no, don't drink the water here.
You don't want to drink the water.
Got some questions I want to ask.
Have a seat, and he like points at like the two chairs he has next to his
Yeah,
table.
you have exactly 2 chairs and 1 table in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just stand in the corner here then.
I don't sit, I perch on the table.
Riker maneuver.
No, that's the leg. And he has to do
Yes,
it with his back.
Just gonna stand here on my cod.
The whole
I will take, since he's standing,
leg
I'm just
over
going to
the
take
chair and everything was all because of his back.
Yeah, I'm just going to
Yeah,
take a
that's
seat.
true.
That's it. I'm just going to take a seat. So I'm going to sit in my own damn house.
So, the Alderman has been
Right.
dealing with some broad. French. Goes by the name La Pan.
Oh, Lana. Yeah. I've seen her around.
What do you know?
She likes her cocktails sweet.
Lots of carriage.
What's carry juice?
She likes her cocktails very fruity. Lots of very sweet, standard rabbit stuff.
Oh, so we're gonna do this then. Okay.
I don't know anything other than what she drinks, man. I try not to get involved in people's business. It's kind of part of my job.
Yeah, so you're telling me you sit there all night serving drinks and not once do you accidentally overhear something?
I try my best not to. Gets me fired.
Okay, try your best to remember those times.
About La Pan, huh?
Just La Pan. I don't care about anyone else.
All right.
Boss is dealing with her, and let's just say I got some concerns.
So, Larence, give me a mind observation.
Mind observation. Okay.
P.S. I love this.
1 success.
1 success. Okay, actually, give me 1 more d6 on that because you speak French.
I do. 2 successes.
I would say a bonus because of
And that's the thing the guys here don't know, is Larence is multilingual. So,
Yep. Most people don't know that about you.
yep.
Oh, no one knows that he was in the Legion
That's true.
yet.
Yet. So, you think back. It is true that you don't like to eavesdrop. Gets you in trouble more often than not. But it is somewhat hard, especially given the tendency of individuals who speak another language to conduct their business in another language, and not particularly quietly when they know most other people around them don't understand what they're saying.
Yep.
So, especially, it's a stereotype, but especially French. The French are very, yeah. Yeah. So, you actually do remember a time, a couple of months back, La Pan was talking with another individual, a person you didn't know. They were in a better quality suit than kind of the average. Didn't look like they worked with their hands at all. Very soft hands. You noticed, and though they didn't, it wasn't like they ordered like a light drink or anything. It's just like they have business that doesn't require them to do a lot of manual labor. Yeah, kind of what you got. And they were kind of talking back and forth for a while, and it seemed to deal specifically. They were talking about a museum exhibit that was coming to town in a couple of weeks. Specifically, it was a painting that was a very rare, like, oil painting that was worth a decent amount from what you got the sense of. And it was, it started out as that, and you, again, kind of going back and forth, you didn't get a lot of successes there. But you kind of went from kind of paying attention, you weren't trying to pay attention. This is you remembering kind of half-heartedly what was being said while you were doing other things and not particularly paying attention. You're trying to remember
serving drinks, and
you're trying to remember peripheral
listen.
Noise. Yeah, you're trying to remember peripheral noise. It started as kind of that conversation, which we just chalked up to them being maybe
French
art lovers, French, yeah, art lovers or French. They're one and the same.
Two sides, same coin.
Two sides, same coin. But it then, without you realizing it or noticing like the difference, towards the end of the conversation, it seemed like a negotiation. He was trying to pay for something, and she was talking him up in terms of price. And at some point, he lost interest. Like she wouldn't budge past a certain point, and like she wouldn't go down enough in price, and he wouldn't go up enough. So kind of just one of those things where a mutual negotiation just kind of
broke down. Yeah,
it broke down. It's like all in all, maybe like 20-25 minute conversation, and then he left, and then she stayed for almost exactly 20 minutes more, and then left the speakeasy at that point. She finished one drink in the whole time, and that's something you remember specifically. Yeah. So that's kind of the closest you got to any information there, and that's about what you get. That's the context. Like, you have that, and the context you have. You basically, they started talking about pictures or some sort of rare painting, and then there seemed to be like a negotiation of price for something, and then that just kind of ended. That's what you got.
Yeah, like Larence at one point like reached over to grab like his smokes, offered the two guys in the room one. If they take it, fine. He takes one, lights it up, sits back with it. So, you know the drill here, right, Roman? You didn't hear any of this from me, sort of stick. Muted.
Push to talk.
Haven't heard anything yet.
Well, you might. So, there was a conversation Madame La Pan was having in the speakeasy with a... Roach, did you mention their species, what they were? The fellow?
Oh, the guy. The guy was... give me a second. It was a goat.
She was having a conversation with this fella. Now, he's wearing a pretty nice suit, nicer than most people there. Had, like, you know, hands that hadn't seen dirt since the day they were born. Goat fella, I'd say, maybe. Not sure which kind of goat. And they were speaking about this really expensive piece of art. And I just assumed, hey, they're both French. They're speaking about art.
So he's
Nothing
French as
unusual.
well.
Yep. They were speaking about art, both French. Conversation you hear every day. In Europe, anyway. And after a while, after doing a few things, this was all sort of secondary stuff. I was trying to ignore this conversation because it's not my job to listen in. I need to ignore people. That's why they hire me, because I'm discreet. So.
You're a wolfhound. You're anything but discreet.
Listen, I keep my mouth fucking shut when I'm told to. So, this fella and La Pan were talking about price. And it wasn't that she was trying to sell him the piece. He was trying to, I guess, solicit a service from her for this piece. And their negotiations broke down eventually because he wouldn't come to the price that she wanted. He was lowballing her. And then he left, and about 20 minutes later, she left after finishing one drink.
She's smart.
Yeah, I never doubted that. She is the one, after all, wearing the nice clothes, while I'm the one serving her drinks.
That's not the point. She's smart. That's a problem. You got nothing else?
That's all I got for you.
You know if she drinks anywhere else?
Haven't seen her drink anyone else. I might be able to talk to a few friends and find out, but as far as I know, we're the most high-class speakeasy in town.
Alright, keep it on the quiet. Anything you find, I'll make sure you're compensated. And yes, we never had this conversation.
Fantastic.
Harry?
Yeah, boss.
Let's go see some of your people.
Might want to leave it until a bit later in the evening.
Alright, let's go get a drink then.
Sounds good by me.
I flick the ashes out the window, keep smoking.
Yeah. A lot of the guys you know, Harry, are working right now. Out on the streets.
By the way, Harry, if you went looking for anything in the room that's worth stealing, the answer is a solid no.
Yeah.
I already knew.
Yeah. You're like, look at Larence.
Harry knew as soon as he saw the building.
Yeah.
He's like,
he's like, damn it could have been somewhere nice, but no, fuck. Can't even steal the cutlery. Cutlery's like tin. Like he has a single set of fork and knives that are just made of tin.
Oh yeah, it's like stamps. Like stamped.
Yep.
O'Shea.
Yeah, no, it's.
I want anything you can get me on this woman. Anything at all.
I'll call up some friends, see what they say. If I can get you anything, I'll call you. Or we'll call the Alderman. Or the Alderman's building, I guess.
You asked for me.
Got it. And if you're not there?
You leave a message for me to get back to you.
Got it. Have a nice drink.
I'll do my best.
All right.
Puts out cigarette, closes door, goes back to working out. Because he's gonna finish his set before he, goes make phone calls. You gotta finish the set. You gotta finish the set, and then you gotta take a shower because, damn.
Yep. Also, you don't own a phone. There's a floor phone. It's a shared phone for the floor.
Yeah, which I would need to occupy for time.
For a time, so yeah. But yeah, you go ahead and do that. The other two, are I guess we've got Harry and Jack. So you're just going out to you're just going to a place to drink, or because a speakeasy wouldn't necessarily. There's not a lot that would be open right now. You're looking for like an alcoholic beverage, but there are plenty of restaurants and various other
coffee shops,
like a coffee shop, things like that. So, okay,
that will give you a very nice Irish coffee.
Yeah, wouldn't do that. Couldn't do that. They can offer you They can offer you. Yeah, it's the height of prohibition. Though they could offer you a pitcher of near beer.
That'll work.
Yeah, it's a non-alcoholic beer.
See, that's the thing about America, right? They got all this pig swill. It's not like the old bitters back in the day. And it's even worse, right, with this prohibition nonsense. What's all that about anyway? I thought this was supposed to be the land of the free.
Yeah, and then they gave freedom to religious nuts.
It's quite ironic because that's exactly what we got over back in the old country. You know, priests getting a vote on our laws and all that, but we're more free than you guys right now.
But your priests drank.
Yeah, well, that is true, but who doesn't like a bit of bitter?
Anyone with taste buds, give me whiskey.
You don't know what you're losing out on. It's real beer, puts air in your chest. None of this watered down shite.
I'm a Black Panther. I got enough fur.
Well, suit yourself. And what's the obsession with coffee as well? What's happened? I can't get a tea to save my life around here. Gasping for it.
And if I would go to the good old sunny UK, would I get a coffee?
Well,
no.
Only if you're going in the trendy establishments, but you got to go into the West End for that. Maybe after a meal, but nah, it's mostly tea.
Yeah.
For context, by the way, this is the early 1920s, or this is the mid 1920s. So coffee back then was sludge. It was black sludge. It was like this is not like fine grown fine grown Arabian beans. And
the Starbucks has not come into being just yet.
Like in the UK around that era, they'd take coffee after a meal for the caffeine, not for the sake of the coffee.
Yeah,
nobody. They would take it after a meal. Like that's why he's saying in the West End, where all the restaurants and theaters were.
Yeah. But yeah, you find a decent diner that's just kind of serving food, basic stuff. I'm not gonna. Again, we're not really doing money as a tracking system in this campaign as much because that doesn't necessarily exist in the rules. There's at least not as a codified system, so we're just kind of being very nebulous about it. But you both actually get well, at least Roman so far, you get paid enough to really not have to worry about money too much. And Harry, you're being pushed to talk, buddy.
Sorry, and that's because I don't have much of a social life. I don't spend a lot of it.
That's true. That is true. Actually, that is one thing I wanted you to both to do. Just since it's both of you two together in public, so I just need one of you to roll like just a d20.
Yeah, I'll do it.
18.
Okay. So you can definitely see that as you go, probably like a middle class kind of like mid-level establishment that's got decent food that Roman knows fairly well. I'm assuming Roman probably goes here whenever he's working nights or something like that, and he gets like a coffee and something to eat. But you do notice that you catch the eye of a cop, but he doesn't like follow you, because remember, at this point they didn't have cop cars necessarily, so they're on patrol, they're on foot patrols. So he's just kind of walking, and he sees both of you. You look pretty ratty just in general, like you don't have super great clothes. You look okay, but in this part of town you're a little bit out of place, just a tad. And Roman looks okay, but he's just naturally a little shady as a person. But it looks like you don't pique his interest enough for him to like shadow you for a while. He just like he takes note of you, and you notice that this cop like looks over.
Seems we've got the interest of the peelers.
What?
Peelers.
Love it.
Police.
Oh, right. You could just say 5-0.
What's a 5-0?
Yeah, that wouldn't exist for a while.
I know.
Yeah, that wouldn't exist for a while. Actually, what would I think it's Flatfoot, Gumshoe, or two pretty popular ones back then, because they're all on foot.
The cops.
Yeah, the cops. Well, we call them peelers back in the city.
Okay. Yeah, I know this. Don't worry about it. Do I know the person who runs this coffee shop?
I'm gonna say Roman does. Roman seems like the kind of guy, like if he had an upstanding profession, he'd be a cop, and he'd be one of those guys. It's like he has a coffee shop he goes to, and he knows that person there because he knows if he needs it, he can get that person to give him a free coffee because he gives so much business. And I'm assuming Roman's kind of like that, except he's on the other side of the law. So I'm assuming he knows this person's first, last name. Maybe you're not the best like social person, but you tip well, and you're
a regular.
You're a regular. He knows you, you know him.
It's the kind of I tip well, and I walk in, and it's a case of there's nothing's going to happen in the shop for the next 20 minutes while he's here because no one would be stupid enough.
Yeah, I'll say that is the thing. A lot of the staff also like you, because you're kind of mellow. You don't give them a lot of guff. You don't talk a lot. Kind of just there. You pay, you eat, etc. And yeah, it's owned. It's a little coffee shop. It's owned by Mr. Luther Scenes. It's SEINES. So that'd be Sierra Echo India November Echo Sierra for the one person taking notes right now. I can see. But yeah, Luther, he's an armadillo who just runs the shop. He's sure.
Crunchy on the outside, smooth on the inside. Armadillos!
But he runs the shop. He does see you come in. He gives you like a nod, like to you.
Hey, Luther.
Hey, Roman. How are you doing?
Not bad. Yourself?
Can't complain.
Business good?
As best it can be.
How's the wife?
She's doing fine. She's at one of those, what do you call them? Rallies.
Politics. Try to keep my nose out of that, but, leave that to the boss.
Oh, I can't tell her not to.
You got any near beer back there?
Yeah, I think we got a pitcher or two. You want me to bring one out?
Yeah.
You and your friend?
2 glasses, buddy. Cheers.
All right. Yeah, you're provided. And just for context, near beer is non-alcoholic. It approximates the taste of beer, and it is carbonated. Those are its 2 functions, and it serves them
poorly.
Somewhat. It serves them poorly. Actually, the funny thing is, near beer, there's a company that currently makes alcohol in the United States that also produced near beer for almost the majority of the Prohibition era. And yes, it is Budweiser.
Huh. Why am I not surprised? Doesn't taste any better with alcohol in it.
But yeah, it's you're provided that. You're provided because it's a coffee shop in the 1920s, so it also provides like sandwiches and things like that. Early in the day, it doesn't have a grill going or anything like that, but you're provided with food, and you can spend most of the day here if you want to, if you're waiting on things. So we can kind of just like gloss over most of that. You're just kind of passing time, really. And if you really want to as well, there's newspapers you can pick up and just kind of read those, what people did back then. Because there's not a lot. Read newspapers.
Yeah, I can't really imagine Roman grilling Harry on his background anyway.
No, I mean, you've been pretty forefront with that. You steal things.
Yes, I steal things.
Yeah,
I'm forefront on who I am, not where I've been.
Yeah, so you've got that. And while this is all going on, just 2 buddies or 2 acquaintances enjoying or at least tolerating a meal. We'll cut back to Larence.
Oh, yay.
Yes. Larence, I just need you because you spend some time exercising. You're going to spend most of your like mid-afternoon to late afternoon kind of, I'm assuming, trying to track down a bit of information.
Yeah.
You've been told to. especially given the fact that you've been told you get paid for working.
Yeah, I'm like, paid? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Roman does work for the Alderman, and the Alderman says he'll pay you, so this should result.
I assume I got my 50 cents for my day work, like for my night's work. I guess I got that at one point.
Oh,
I don't know.
We'll have to talk about that when it comes to when the money is doled out. But you've been given a task, and after cleaning up and getting ready for the day, you go ahead and start kind of tracking down some information. I would say, since you're kind of using your connections,
yeah,
as opposed to everything else, I would say this would be more of a probably body presence check.
Okay.
Because it's more of like, oh, I remember you, yeah, and you're using like the fact that you're kind of using yourself more to gather information. You know where to look. It's more about whether or not they'll give you anything. Or
I don't think tracking will apply to this. No, it's about following and stuff like that. So no.
Yeah, no, not really, not yet.
I mean, I'm tracking somebody, but not in that way.
Not in that way. No, you're more tracking down information.
All right. So, yeah. Yes. So body presence, right?
Body presence. Yeah.
Success. Very nice. Two successes.
All right. It's not that hard to find, actually. There was you got an individual you do know who doesn't bartend. He's kind of muscle for a it's basically an Irish bar gone underground because they was out.
My people.
Yeah, that's kind of why you know them. It's kind of weird because you spent some time there before you got your job at your current place.
Yeah,
you weren't working, but you kind of had, it was like in the cultural center for a lot of expatriates that came over.
There's a ye olde gold and like green and gold harp flag for Ireland up on the wall.
Oh, definitely. There's like, there's
a Hurley stick. There's a Hurley stick up there,
Super into it. And it was originally a bar, like a pub that was like above ground. I think it's all above ground, but you know what I mean? It's above board.
Yeah,
but
legal.
When Prohibition came, when it became illegal, they instead converted the pub into an Irish like restaurant that does poorly.
Yeah.
Yes, it does poorly. But most of their money comes from the fact that most of the back room is dedicated to this speakeasy that's a pub. It's an Irish pub.
Yeah.
And this is a guy mostly because he has relations to somebody you knew back in Ireland. So
you're Jason's, you're Sean's cousin, right? Yeah.
Like a cousin, like a cousin of an acquaintance that you were able to get in there, and that's kind of the closest you have in terms of the town. But he's willing enough to talk. He knows that La Pan came in a couple of times. Maybe a few months ago. This is before the last time you remember her being at your place. Like, it was like she came in a few times and she talked with somebody. Hold on. He doesn't remember who. It was a guy, and he was in a nice suit, and there was just a lot of negotiation, kind of talk going on. And they had they usually had their own table, and they just kind of they paid well, and they didn't give him any problems, so he didn't really pay attention too much.
Hey,
his name
Bud is no, like I'm just gonna call him Bud because that's what.
Okay.
Or actually, hang on.
Bud.
Let me pull up.
I can't. Slang for the Irish slang.
Hang on. I'll get there eventually. At some point. Eventually. No, never mind. Screw it. I'm just gonna call him the Irish friend because he's definitely a friend at this point. So I'll figure that out once I type this in here. Because I'm not actually Cara. We call him Cara because that's the Irish word for friend.
Okay.
So Cara, is this dude? Do you remember if he's a goat of some kind, maybe?
I'm not gonna put on an accent because I don't want to insult you.
Listen, man, you don't know half the people who tried doing Irish accents around me. You probably do okay.
Probably not. No, he conveys he's not sure. He didn't pay too much attention because they didn't give him any trouble. So his job's not to pay attention to the good customers.
Yeah, he's the muscle. He's
supposed to make sure that one, nobody else muscles in on what's going on there. And two, to make sure that if anybody like raises hell, that they get out quickly.
Yep.
So the fuzz doesn't come in. He could have been. He thinks it's a possibility that that's the case, but he's not definitive on that point. He just remembers they were in a decent looking suit, was a little out of place. She looked a little out of place, but not that much. Not too much. There's actually a few Frenchmen that come in because there's not a lot of European based like bars that are still operating. Yeah. So it's different, but it's kind of close.
Like the Irish and the French have like a fairly decent relationship. So I'm not surprised,
there's a few. You know? She's not that out of
place.
They
both hate the English.
Exactly.
That's true. It's the one uniting thing of most of Europe is that they hate the English.
Yeah.
It's a good in as well into the United States, at least at this time period. Well, maybe 10 years earlier, it would have been a bit easier, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's a possibility. She came in, she hasn't been in since, and he gives you kind of like rough dates, and from what you can track, it was maybe a couple of weeks before your remembered conversation she had is
right.
What she got. And he says maybe 2 or 3 times in at the pub.
Right.
And that's what he's got in terms of that. He offers his name is Jeremiah. He offers to keep an eye out if that's what you want.
Jeremiah. All right, Gormalgut, Cara, if you don't mind doing that for me, let me know if she comes back, and if you can remember anything about this fella, that they're meeting up with, call this number and let me know.
All right. He takes the number down. And says, all right, I will. And closes up. And I say that's probably, with the rolls that you got, that's probably that's the best amount of information you get in, say maybe like 2 hours of like calling around, seeing like what you can find out.
Yeah.
Before you're.
Am I working bar tonight?
I'd say yeah. It's getting close to the weekend-ish, like Thursdays, like maybe it's
payday.
It's gonna be light. It's gonna be light in the night, but people are getting ready for the weekend, kind of thing. So it's a lot of prep kind of going in. So yeah, I'd say you probably work at night tonight.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I can do that. Because I was gonna say I might go over to the Irish pub and try and talk to the owner because I'm sure he knows me, but.
You got a bit of
late.
time if you wanted to, but it's up to you if you
I'll go put my work suit on, the good one, and then I'll go there because that way I know. Hanging. Yeah, the one thing that's actually pressed and hung and looks nice with the French cuffs and everything, because that's the actual fancy suit. Yes. Put that on and then go to the pub, and that way I don't have to go back to my apartment to get changed to go to work.
Okay, so you do that, and let's cut to La Pan. You wanted to kind of talk to a fence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll say you're trying to track down somebody to talk to about about fencing a worth, like an object, specifically this pen, which it's a bit much for a fence, or it's a bit little for a fence, but it's good to have the contact. You do remember, as you spend a little bit of time thinking it over, kind of looking through your like contacts booklet, because I'm assuming
the hidden little black book rather than the known contacts.
Yeah. You haven't done a lot of work in the city, so it's hard to find. Though you do know of one contact who you haven't necessarily done work with, but he's got money, and he looked like he maybe did this kind of thing, and he sought you out for a while for a job, but the money wasn't good enough for what he was wanting you to do. So you never took up the offer. But it's he's a curator at a museum in the central part of the city, specifically the South Fields, kind of like the old dock, shady road area. There's like a nice small museum, and he has kind of a below the board kind of business with objects that are worth something, and he was trying to get you to steal a particularly valuable painting. He might know somebody, or he might be able to work with you on that. That's kind of your close. I'll say that's probably your best bet. You don't have a lot of inroads in the criminal underground of the city yet.
No, that's fine. Do I remember his name?
Sure.
And I assume it's the goat.
It is a goat, yes. Just check here.
He's not the greatest of all time. He's just a goat.
Just eats everything and has weird eyes.
Yep.
Gilbert. That is. Gilbert. I don't know why this can't. It's alliterative. Gilbert Green.
Gilbert Green the goat. That is the most beautiful thing.
Yes.
GGG is his signature.
Yes, GG. But yeah, he again, he kind of curates for a small museum, deals mostly in fine art and specific objects relating to Germanic history in the museum, but he deals with a lot of other things like outside of that in a below board. And you do have a contact number for him. He gave it to you after you turned him down for the last time for the job, in case you changed your mind.
Well, what time is it?
I'll say with everything going on, you trying to kind of track this down and also spending a lot of time just moving house to the boarding house, say it's getting closer to, it's not dark yet, but it's getting close.
Okay, I shall give him a call.
All right. Hello.
Hello, Monsieur Green. C'est La Pan.
Oh, I'm afraid if you're looking for some work, that position is no longer available.
No, we had the negotiation. It didn't work out. I'm perfectly happy with that. I was more looking for another conversation.
All right. Do you wish to meet?
Yes, I was thinking at the place with the wolfhound barman.
Have we ever did we ever work out the name of that place? Because that's definitely not the name of the speakeasy.
The Wolfhound Pub. That would be the
Wolfhound Pub.
That's actually a pretty decent real name.
It's how I got my name. It's how I got the name. I don't know. Let me just check here. Yeah, I don't think we ever actually did. We never actually did. We're gonna call it. Well, it's the higher class place. Everywhere.
Fat Sam's.
No, we're gonna. It's a high class place. We're calling it the. Oh, I had one here.
Oh, Hound's Den's a good one.
Hound's Den. That is a good one, though. Again, a bit on the nose. when it comes to these things. Oh yeah, or it's called the red diamond, and its symbol is a red like a poker diamond from a red suit.
The red diamond.
I can make it if you're more comfortable speaking in person than over the phone. Tonight.
I do not trust these things yet.
Understandable. Sure. It's 6 o'clock ish. I'll be there.
Yeah. The barman made an excellent cocktail. I think I'll have another one of those.
All right. I will see you there, Miss La Pan.
Merci. Au revoir.
The phone goes off. So yeah, you set up a location. Again, you don't have a lot of contacts, so you don't really have any other leads that you can use there. But that's only a few hours away, or until that time. And in that time, Jack and Harry, you have
Question.
Yes.
Does Harry know this guy as a fence? Because he does use fences.
You do use fences, though. This is more, there's kind of levels to fences. There's individuals you go to if you want to, like, if you've, pocketed a watch from somebody and you need to sell it. And then there's somebody you go to when you have a rare, oil painting that you need to get rid of without sparking any problems. So there's kind of that level, but I'll let you roll to see if you've gotten contact, at least through like an intermediary, to kind of know where this guy
See, my thing was that my character has that pocket watch to fence off.
You do.
And I was wondering, like, it might be one of those funny situations where he goes and arranges to meet with this guy as well at the same place.
Well, I'm gonna say there's a chance. There's a chance. Go ahead and
he'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go see this fence. He might know more about this woman."
Give me just a D20 roll for give me a luck check. We're just gonna see what you know when whatever's going on there ends.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hold on a minute.
Oh, I didn't show this on the Tuesday group yet, but I got myself a novelty D20. That's huge for just...
I mean, they're just fun. They just look like fun.
It's just fun. This also is very heavy. So, I mean, if it's good self-defense, just like...
My metal dice are super heavy.
I don't trust metal dice. I feel like I'm going to dent my desk when I roll.
All I'm going to say is everything's fun and games until you accidentally step on it during the night trying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, until you accidentally step on your deep metal D4, which is just a caltrop.
They're just caltrops. They're just caltrops. It's bad. It's bad. It's just bad.
Sorry about that. As someone was just... Was they banging? Just had a load of banging on the wall from next door. I'm like, what's going on there?
I don't know. Yeah, give me a D20. Just where it's going to be a luck check. We're just kind of seeing what you got.
Unlucky for some, 13.
Okay. Unlucky for some, but you rolled above. I'll say this. Yeah, you know of Mr. Green. Specifically, he is a fence, but he deals in a lot of bigger things. But as well as his job at the museum and his own personal fencing, he kind of facilitates a lot of deals with lower level fences. He's a kind of like a manager of fencing.
A clearinghouse.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
he's got a lot.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money. So we can kind of help fences if they're having trouble offloading things. He can bring it on and then offload it himself. That is for a fee. So he's kind of like this. He's this upper level, kind of there. You probably haven't worked directly with him maybe once. Maybe you got like a really nice like engraved like watch or like something that was like super nice one time that you went to him for. The watch you got here though, because we said it was just a watch, but I didn't really check. So because it was off one of those guards. I want to say this. It is much like the time period when you worked for a certain amount of time, you didn't usually get a bonus or anything like that. You would get a watch from the company, like a really nice watch. This is somebody's like from the engraving on it, it's probably their 20-year like working at for this company watch. So it's actually a bit better than just a standard kind of like off the rack one. Like this is fairly nice. It's got some nice got some nice like engraving on it. So I'd say it's up to you. If
I'm
you
trying
think
to facilitate a situation where I could get into contact with a higher level fence who would have possible connections to Miss La Pan.
I'd say you could. Harry might think this is worth enough to go maybe up to a higher level than his standard fence because he has a fence he knows.
He's brokeraging it out to someone lower.
Yeah. I'd say that because Harry definitely has a fence he goes to. He knows this person. He knows they're good. Like they're not gonna screw him over. But he definitely knows that if he needs something bigger, he can go up one level and he can go up to like Mr. Green, and that's
what we'll do, which is gonna result in quite the interesting situation. So
I'm totally fine with this. It makes my job easier. And it's not too contrived.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah, and I also rolled a natural 19 on seeing if that watch was worth a lot. So it's
nice.
So we'll say that kind of works. And Harry's got an eye for worth for.
So Roman, is the plan? I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, right? And I know that guy a little bit as well, but not to that level, if you know what I mean. He moves things, facilitates the movement of goods. And I've got some goods that need help moving. And he might know a bit about our business. So I'm thinking that I arrange a meeting. And then on the side, after I do my business, ask a few questions. I'm probably going to get less than my local guy would give me, but pre quo, as I heard some people like to say, means he'll scratch our back if we're scratching his.
So you want to go see him?
I think it's our best chance.
All right, let's do it then. We're just wasting time here. Luther.
Yes.
Put it on my tab,
that's
buddy.
The wrong voice.
Don't worry. Put it on my tab, buddy. I'll sort you out at the end of the week.
He gives you like a wave, and he. Yeah, this is kind of a local place. He probably has like a board that's just got like 10 people that he trusts to have a tab, like that he knows, and he just kind of writes it down.
And the top name is mine.
No, I'd say the top one is probably like a family member, because it's one of those places where like if you like they'll give a tab to like one person in their family, and that's the only one they trust, or maybe his wife. But yeah, you're up there. You're up there. But he marks it down, and I'm just checking something here because I need to check up on some information on the era.
Well, while you're doing that, we could take a midpoint break.
Oh, are we? How?
We're 10 minutes
too.
We're 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So if you want to
we'll go. No. It was just me having to Google search something and type in like 3 words.
Okay.
So I just wanted to see when payphones were invented.
When were payphones invented? Things you don't need to know until you play a D&D
definitely
game in the 1920s.
Yeah, definitely exist at this point. So yeah, you can go. You have a contact number that you can get in contact, and kind of they can kind of bring you up the chain. So we'll say I won't make you like role play throughout all those those interactions, because there's kind of like a couple of degrees of separation here. But definitely, eventually, you get on the phone with a Mr. Green, who who knows you. Actually, he only knows you from I think one interaction before, but he knows your name. He immediately goes Roman, or not Roman. Harry. Yep. Harry. Neville.
Good evening, Mr. Green.
What can I do you for?
I require for some facilitation. I'm not sure if it's quite at your personal level, but I've got understanding that you have your own contacts, and my local business partner, let's just say, is a little bit too local for this goods.
I can give an appraisal if need be. I've got some business I'm currently attending to. Is it a large appraisal, or is it something that we could do on the fly?
We'll accept on the fly.
All right. Do you know the Red Diamond?
I do.
All right. I've got a meeting there, but if it's not too big, I can do it before or after. So we can meet there. Got a meeting at 6, so why don't we just plan for meeting there a little early, and we'll see what we can do.
Of course. Thank you very much, Mr. Green.
I'll see you there. And click.
Click.
Yeah,
All right, Roman. The deal's on.
When? Where?
The Red Diamond. Just
Yeah,
before
it's like
6, if we get there. He'll see us.
like-
He's got a meeting. Probably someone with a bit higher caliber goods than me, if he's meeting them personally. But he'll do us a quick appraisal, which means that it'll give us half a chance to ask him a couple of questions before, he has to slip away.
That's Larence's bar.
Even
Right, let's
better.
go.
All right.
By the way, for anybody who's saying this is very contrived, Roach, well, hey, you didn't just spend a month watching noir films, and the fact that this is totally in line with the genre.
Welcome to noir, where things just work.
Where things happen. Where
Yeah.
things just happen.
So, yeah, I got onto that level thinking, we need to do this.
Yeah. Also, I love the Anto in the comments section says, don't forget the highest class of fence, a miller. This is great.
That's an Eleanor Chronicles reference, folks.
That's a Kingdom Come Deliverance reference. Which
It's also that reference,
totally.
too.
It is too, yeah. So yeah, we'll say we'll just kind of gloss over everything. Everybody's getting ready or moving towards the Red Diamond speakeasy, where there's a lot of meetings going on right now, and one person's just going to work.
I'm just going to work. I'm like, I don't
One
expect
person-
to see half these people here. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's one person's going to work. The rest of them have a contrived meeting of a meeting. So we get that all going, and now we can go on a break because
All right,
we'll
folks.
have a new scene at that point.
Folks, it is time for us to take a quick midpoint break. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Go ahead, get yourself a drink, get yourself a snack, and be ready for some more Tricogha Nights after these few minutes of break. And welcome back to Tricogha Nights.
All right, just literally right as Mordred's mic. Mordred is raiding right now. Like just as he said that.
Hello, Raiders.
Hey, Raiders! We're actually playing the game when you come in this time. We're not.
Hi, Raiders.
Yeah,
Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the raid, Mordred.
Yeah, you're single-handedly helping this channel survive. it's great. So yeah, we're coming back in. Everybody's through either contrivance or just having a job is meeting in one location for once, except for the one person who's not here. So we come back in. It is after dark, and we're heading to the
Red Diamond.
Red. I know that. I was waiting for the music to catch up. To catch up. I take pauses. you stop. We go to the Red Diamond, which is maybe in another life or 10 years before or after this current point in time in history would be at like a really nice like open location, and people would be lining up for it, and it'd be well known. But that's not the case because Prohibition exists, and you know that's screwed with a lot of things. So actually what you're going to is a kind of a like good looking upper restaurant kind of area that caters to just like generally like upper class individuals, and they deal with they got like a lunch counter kind of vibe going on with a couple of tables in the sides. So overall the footprint of the building is very small, but behind this restaurant there is a large basement that you go down the stairs to get to the door, and it is adorned with a big diamond in kind of like a ruby red on the door, and there is a single doorman who just kind of he has plausible deniability because he doesn't look dressed up or anything like that. He's on the outside. He looks just like he's leaning against there, and he keeps an eye on people coming in. You know this, Larence, because we're going to go to you because you're here first, obviously, because you work here. But you know this individual. He's just some muscle. There's a couple kind of like rotate through every week.
Hey, Terry.
Yes, thank you. It's a lot easier for fantasy names because you can just get a list of those, but you kind of need something that works with these. He's a wolf. He's just he's the muscle there. But he nods to you. You walk in, and the thing is, this was probably just the basement for this building at one point in time or another. But because of the close proximity of the other buildings around, and possibly some deals worked out with the owners of those properties, the basement has been expanded without letting the city know, so that it kind of takes up the space of multiple building footprints kind of across there. So it is a fairly large area here. And there's a large dance floor off to one side. There's a big bar with a various assortment of alcoholic drinks. One thing that is different about this than the standard speakeasies you probably have in your mind is the fact that because Tricogha is on the Great Lake, or is on one of the Great Lakes, which goes directly across the border to Canada, smuggling of actual labeled liquor exists. So it's not just bathtub gin or our local product. It's fairly cheap to import illegally here. So there's actually quite a few just Canadian brand alcohols that are kind of taking up a lot of the space at the bar, which you're familiar with, Larence, because that is where you work. Everybody's keying up for kind of a slow night. It's the weekday. It's Thursday. There's not a lot to really cater to. And so you're kind of getting in what you have to do, cleaning glasses, making sure everything's set up right. You're getting, make sure the taps are all working, all that, standard just maintenance and checks before customers start coming in, which happens, I'd say probably half hour-ish after you get in.
I obviously recognize the people who walk in because the first people in are always the locals.
Yeah, always the locals, including the owner as well, because he likes to keep an eye on people that are coming into the establishment, make sure that make sure he's a face there. And a good number of upstanding citizens come here as well. It's the best bar, or it's the best speakeasy that exists in town, at least that you know of. So a lot of government faces will come here when they're trying to entertain or have a guest. So you're expected to be, kind of more upstanding in your looks and everything. And you also give, you've been told this by the owner, you kind of give a certain allure to the bar, given the fact that you have a certain presence about you. So people think it's more interesting, which is, depending on whether or not you think that's a good thing that you got, a reason you got hired or not.
Needs to be employed, right?
Yeah, so it's up to you. But yeah, a lot of just standard patrons come in. Funny enough, one of the I would say probably try to remember. I read up on this, but it's been a week, so a lot of things have elapsed. The district that the police, the city is split into different police districts. Everything. The local district head of the police comes here often.
Of course he does.
On his day, on his times off. So he'll come in, he'll get a couple of glasses, and then he'll probably leave. He doesn't stick around a long time unless there's a party. So he's probably one of the first ones because he gets off early. Because he's an administrator, not necessarily an actual beat cop. So he goes in, he gets his standard, a couple of glasses of whiskey. He drinks,
and he slides across the probably Canadian whiskey because it's not watered down.
Oh, it's definitely Canadian whiskey. It's definitely I don't know a Canadian whiskey brand because I don't drink, but and it's also the 1920s, so there's probably more than there are now. But. You give him that, and he's not coy about it. He's in his uniform.
Yeah,
he's in his uniform. This isn't this is established enough that people don't care. He's off work now, and he's coming in here. And if anybody,
I finished my shift. I'm here to have a drink. And then I'm done.
That's his answer too. It's like, aren't you a cop, sir? Like when like a new person comes in, like, not right now, I'm not. And he just like takes a sip.
Not right now.
Yeah.
I'm off the clock.
Off the clock. That's kind of the common like first couple of people in here is usually like those people just getting off. The owner, a couple of high level. You'd expect on a weekend people will be coming in like right around now, like for entertaining or like this is their weekend. They're enjoying it and dances and stuff. Right now, not as much. There's a radio on. They don't have a band in during the week days. It's only on the weekends they got a band in, so it's kind of just canned music that's being played right now. But it's nice enough. The atmosphere is good. You get paid either way. You get better tips on the weekend, but you get paid either way.
Yeah,
So,
I get paid my wage no matter what.
yes, so it's one of those. I'll say you see. Actually, hold on. Check here because I want to roll this dice as much as possible because I spent.
Listen, you'll hear it.
Yeah,
You'll hear it.
I almost spent $9 on this die, so I want to use it. Oh, it's good.
It's a big boy dice.
It's a big boy. I could throw this with a good amount of heft and probably knock someone out. But,
Nice.
yeah, I'll say the first person that gets there is you recognize somebody, whether or not you want to pay attention, but it does pique your interest because of the recent events that happened today. A well-dressed goat comes in. He's wearing his like a nice suit and everything, and he gets himself like a table, like off in the corner. He just gets himself a table on his own. He doesn't come to the bar. And
Do any of the waitresses or anything like that go over to him straight away?
Oh yeah, because there's more than there should be. Because they
Yeah,
all just show
yeah,
up.
it's a weekday. Yeah,
It's a weekday, so they're all just like it's.
I lean over to one of them and just go, "Hey, Mary, serve him, please." Because like
you don't
Mary,
have to say anything. They're
Mary's like
immediately-
someone I know. So Mary,
Yeah.
like he's like Mary's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, you don't even have to say anything. As soon as they see somebody come in and go sit and everything, you see like the three girls. They're there. Like they immediately like do a like rock, paper, scissors. They're trying to decide who goes. They all want to go because tip, and
Yeah.
he looks like he's got money. One of them wins like rock paper scissors or something to go over. Take an order. It's brought back. He just wants a neat whiskey. Just neat whiskey. And he just leans back. He's just waiting. It looks like he's provided a drink at some point, and he just
I'll get him his
sips
drink
it.
and
It's like a sip and drink. He's not here to get drunk. He's just here to.
I appreciate
do
that.
something.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right.
And so he's the first one to get there, and I'll say the next two people that get there, because you specifically said you wanted to get there early instead of later, would be our two other individual, our two like maybe not as high class individuals that are definitely more shady looking. But I'll say you have no trouble getting in because of who you work for, and you may not necessarily be known by name by the crew, but they know you work with the Alderman because you've been here. And because of that, they're not going to question who you're coming in with. Like basically because you are with somebody so high up, they're not questioning who you're bringing in here because because definitely, Harry, you haven't been to the Red Diamond. I'll say this is a much higher class establishment than on the odd times you go out.
I've known of it. I've never visited.
Yeah, which that's saying something. You come in and you immediately notice this is really nice. Like, it's got nice carpeted floors. Like it looks like it'd be a dingy basement, but with the size of this place, they've got like a really good atmosphere. It's really nice. The motif of the red is kind of everywhere, like a red diamond. A lot of this stuff. It's they're really leaning into that kind of like card game kind of motif. The red diamonds, everything.
Harry,
Yeah.
hands in pockets.
No. It's strictly on business. I know not the shit where you eat.
All right.
But I say, it's certainly nicer than the cellar pubs I have to deal with.
Yeah. It's a bit red for my taste.
Larence's pocket square is actually in the shape of like a deck of cards,
Yeah.
and there's like a heart, a diamond, and a club or something like that in there.
Yeah, it's total uniform. Necessary. Yeah. Actually, a lot of the individuals that are in the bar that are working as well, if they don't have like a pocket square or some motif, they have some sort of motif of poker, of a card on there, including up to the point, the really lazy ones, they'll just have, if they're wearing a hat, in the hat band, they'll just have a poker card like in the hat.
Do they have a poker table?
They do, actually. Yes, they do.
Thank God.
Poker games and various other games of chance, like not super gambly, like they don't have like a roulette or anything like that, but anything that's easy to kind of break up, like set up or break down, in case they need to bug out quickly. Like they've got that. So basically, most of the card games they've got set up. So they've got blackjack with a dealer who is at this point just kind of leaning against the table and he's having a smoke when he's got like a water in front of him because he can't drink on while he's working. Regular poker table that's just kind of set up for anybody to kind of come in. There's kind of known rules that have to be that are established when you come into the thing. And actually, oddly enough, also Pharaoh is set up as well. If you don't know that, that is an American card game that was very popular during kind of that era. That went the way of the dodo because it was not able to be kind of made in favor of the house because of the way the game was structured. So it kind of got killed by the gambling establishment.
I obviously see Roman and Henry come in.
And
I'm like, I just go about my day. I'm serving somebody a drink, maybe having a casual conversation with one of the regulars, about how their day was. It's been like a little while since we've been in, so.
Yeah. And you two also see, you see the barman, because why wouldn't you? It's kind of like the focal point of the business is to have people drink here. But the next thing you would see is, or at least Harry would, because of this individual, not necessarily Roman. He wouldn't know him from a hole in the ground. But you see Mr. Green, he's sitting at a table by himself. He's got a drink in front of him and he's kind of just kind of waiting. And it takes a moment, but he also sees you and you kind of do that thing where you're like, okay, you're here. We're here to do business now. Like, he's not like guiding you over. It's more surreptitious, like.
Yeah, I know the one.
Let's get a drink.
Yeah, we'll see what this place has.
I take it your friend's here.
Our acquaintance certainly is present.
All right, let's get a drink first before we go talk to him. We're paying customers.
Larence walks over to the two gentlemen. Gentlemen, what can I get you this fine evening?
Give me two of your finest whiskeys.
Neat.
This is another way to drink it.
No, sir. How about you? And he asks Henry.
What, you got any Canadian bitters?
Give me a second. And I turn around and I reach underneath the table, pull out 2 tumbler glasses, dunk, put those out in front of Roman, walk over a bit, reach underneath the bar again, pull out a long neck bottle, like one of those large bottles, if anyone knows what they're drinking, and pulls off the top, gets a pint glass, make sure it's clean, even though I cleaned it like 5 minutes ago. Pours out a fantastic, pulls out like a fantastic pint, leaves half the beer in the bottle, puts it down in front of Henry. Nice, thick head, creamy, nice and light. Right, gentlemen, that'll be this amount.
Yes, money. 1920s amount.
Have 1920s amount for that.
Yeah. See, you're provided with drinks. And I would say, Harry, this is a lot more than you're used to. Like, what you normally get is beer. I mean, it's not great beer, but it also doesn't cost like a lot. This is expensive. It's expensive. I'm not going to say you can't get it, but because of the way the game's kind of monetary system works, I would say this is like a moderate expense for your character, which means you wouldn't be able to get anything else that's moderate for a few days. Like that's kind of how it works. Like there's minor expenses, moderate, and major expenses. So this would be like, for you, the sliding scale of income.
To clarify, I believe that Roman just paid for the drinks.
I did.
Oh, did he? Oh, you did? Okay, then never mind.
Yes,
Enjoy.
Victor's a freeloading arsehole.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Enjoy,
Well,
gentlemen.
that gives you context. It's expensive. So Harry knows that immediately. Like,
I'm taking full advantage of the hospitality presented.
The brown bottle also has like has a white label on it with like black lettering that just says the brown moose, and it has a picture of a moose that's like ripped brown, that's like holding two like dumbbells.
Well, if it's back then though, it'd be brown moose. It'd probably be if it's Canadian. If it's a Canadian beer or something like that, it might be.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a woodsman.
Yeah, it's a woodsman. It's a moose in flannel with an axe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get your drinks. You're served. Which
I immediately move on to my next customer.
I knock the first one back, and the second one is for sipping.
Let's go meet and settle our transaction.
I wink at the cutest waitress as I'm walking by.
She notices you.
She pays attention.
She notices you. She's working.
Do I get a smile back or anything?
I mean, yes, but she is always smiling. She is a waitress in the American work culture.
Yeah, but you know when a smile's forced and when a smile is actually.
It's received warmly. You were received warmly. You're received warmly. But nothing. Yeah. You roll a 13. It's 13 on D20. It was. Yeah.
Rivalon's look obviously transfers to this game as well then.
Yeah. So yeah, you head over to the table. You are acknowledged by Mr. Green. Harry?
Mr. Green?
Your friend here.
Jack Roman. Acquaintance of the Alderman, Jack.
I'm afraid I don't pay attention to politics. There's so many aldermen. I don't pay much attention to politics. But either way, hello, Mr. Roman.
Mr. Green?
Have a seat. And what you see, Roman, is, because this is the first time seeing this man, is definitely, your first impression is like, this person doesn't labor for a living. This is very... But he doesn't look weak. It's kind of like that thing. He looks very clean. He looks like he hasn't like done hard work, but he doesn't look weak as a person. He just looks like he's
He works smart, not hard.
Yeah, we'll say that. But take a seat. He's got like a 3/4 glass left of his whiskey. So you needed an appraisal done? On what specifically?
A pocket watch. Not just any pocket watch. You'll understand why I can't use my local man for this. Freshly imported from the docks. Bit too close to home.
Let me take a look. Maybe point you in the right directions. And he like gets out like a little eyepiece to check, and if you produce the watch, he'll take it and take a check on that. It's not the best quality. They took a little bit of shortcuts when it comes to some of the materials, but you could fetch something. I have a man you could talk to if you'd like. He takes out a small little like pocketbook and just write a number and name down. Like that. He should be able to steer you in the right direction, Mister. Neville, and he hands you back the paper with the pocket watch. He does not at any point, like, it doesn't look like he's trying to swindle you at all. He's just very business oriented. He gets his job because he does not present like as a competition or a problem to anybody.
Yeah, there's a reason why he's at the top.
Yeah, he deals exactly in what something's worth. He does not fuck anybody around. He gives you a name. It's somebody you do know of. You probably could have gone directly to if you were really if you were really wanting to. But it's good to know that he might be able to help you out. And while this is happening, our third individual comes into the bar. This is not the first time you've been to the Red Diamond, but it's not the first time, but it has been a while. It's been a little bit. The last time you were here was for business with the same person that you're going to meet today or tonight. So kind of equals out there. And you're let in. Basically, the doorman isn't there to stop anybody, really. They're just there to keep an eye on people. So when you show up...
It's mostly to facilitate people leaving rather than barring people coming in.
To an extent. He's also there as a little early warning system. If there's going to be a raid, he can slow up a cop or a raid for like 30 or 40 seconds or something like that. And there's a back way out that people might be able to get out of. It's kind of like one of those things. So... But no, he like gives you an eye, and then he kind of like gives you like a nod and goes back against the wall. The door is opened, and you are allowed in.
Merci.
And you see a somewhat, I guess, familiar sight, because you know one of these individuals. Well, you know two of these individuals. You know the individual you're going to meet, and then he's also meeting with two other individuals. At that point, you see Mr. Green talking with a Black Panther and a Fox. And I would say you don't know Harry. I'd say you're there's two levels of professionality when it comes to, or maybe not professionality, but two levels kind of in the profession. I'd say he knows you, but it doesn't go the other way around in that sense. But yeah, you see him in a meeting, and they're kind of like, you get him right whenever. See Mr. Green, he's like looking at a watch very closely. It looks like he's appraising something as you walk in. So you've got some time, it looks like.
Do either of them notice me?
That's a question.
I'm too busy.
Are you trying to be surreptitious or hidden?
If I see the panther, I am trying to be surreptitious because he scared me.
Okay, then this is going to be an opposed check with you being on the defensive, him being on the offensive here. So what I need is you, as you're going to be probably rolling, I would say, I'm going to say it's, depending, how are you trying to be hidden? Because it could go a lot of different ways. Are you just trying to be, like, quickly, like, dart out of get out of his line of sight, or are you more trying to blend in so he doesn't notice that you're you? Like, which way are you trying to play this?
Dart out of his sight lines.
Okay. And that would be a speed evasion check. He is going to roll, I would say, probably a mind observation check to try and like catch her beforehand. Okay, 3 successes. Push to talk, Rival, if you're trying to talk.
I'm using Streetwise.
Streetwise, okay.
You may claim a bonus D12 on any of the rolls, academics or observation to recognize criminal elements.
That definitely applies here, yeah. So you need, so it's a mind observation check, and then you'll roll a D12 on top of that.
Ooh.
Right, D12.
Ooh, that was almost a 12.
Okay, so what we see here is the fact that you both got 3, which would be a tie. But then we look at the dice that were actually rolled. the 3 successes that Lena got was a 5-5-6. So 5-5-6. While as Roman, your 3 successes was a 4-5-8. So one of those is less than one of her dice. So she beats one of those dice with one of hers, kind of canceling it out. She still comes out with 3. You come out with 2 because of her. You gotta push talk, buddy.
I have one that beats her.
You do have one that beats her. Oh yeah, you're right. You have one, and you are attacking. You would be technically on the offense. She's on the defensive. So you're right, I got that mixed around. So her as the defensive, she's got a 5-5-6. So both of her 5s beat your 5 and a 4. Her 6 can't beat your 8, which means it comes out on top. So you are the successor there. You're right. Keeping track who's defending and who's attacking, or like who's on offensive, kind of is what matters here.
Rival sleeping on the couch tonight, by the way.
So yeah, it's a close thing though. It's close, but you're kind of, because you're not actively.
Would I think I would be okay? Because I suspect that he's not gonna, sort of give any movement as to he's noticed me.
Well, we'll see. I'm trying to illustrate.
Let the man do his job.
That is not what I do. I talk and I tell you what you do. Yeah, because you're not a part of this kind of negotiation going on right now, Roman. You're just kind of, you're sipping your second whiskey, just letting this play out, and kind of out of the side view, like your peripheral, you notice just kind of some movement, and it's like your lizard brain just goes like familiar shape, and you kind of key into that, and you kind of look, and like for a split second you see somebody you recognize, and there is a rabbit who that's a question. Lena, are you wearing, like, are you in like a very fancy dress, or is it more just kind of like going out, like what's the
smart casual, so nothing too, I don't want to stick out too much, but I know there is a dress code, so I'm sticking to that dress code.
Yeah, you see somebody dressed like pretty nicely, and you recognize, oh, La Pan. Whether you react overtly or not is up to you. Nope. So you just kind of, like, eye goes over for a second, and then you're back to what you're doing. So I would say Lena thinks she got away. Basically, you like notice you're like walking in, you kind of like see the bar, and then you look over. Oh, there's Mr. Green. There's that, and then sidestep to behind like a group of people, and you think you got it. You think you're okay for a bit. And you kind of you're trying to maintain blocking away from those two. So how long is that going to go on for? You just trying to wait for them to leave, or is it more of a like?
I'm gonna sort of go round to.
Rival,
is the bar straight, or is it?
There you go. You're good now.
Is the bar straight, or is it sort of got a curve that I can sort of go on to sort of one side of it?
If we're talking about a layout, think of like this is a big rectangle. You come in on the short side of this rectangle, and the top corner is the bar, and it's kind of like an L, and they got a storage room there and everything, and then maybe a separate entrance inside of one of the buildings that comes down for like storage. And then kind of everywhere else is fairly open except for the back room area for the band kind of stage, which is barely a back room. So it's fairly open, but there are a lot of posts because this is a basement, and it's a very big basement. So there's posts kind of every so often keeping, the roof up. So you wouldn't be able to, from where they're at there, you could stay at the bar and have the hook kind of the corner kind of block view a little bit, if you wanted.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go for.
Okay. Yeah, no, you could do that. That'd totally allow you to like you get a seat at the bar and just kind of wait for kind of a sign of movement. You don't have direct line of sight on the table he's at because he took kind of like one a little bit further away. He wants to conduct his business away from prying ears and eyes. But they'd have to pass by you to get out of this establishment. Like they'd have to. You would see them leaving to go out.
Okay. I excuse myself from the little meeting.
Whoa. I need you here for what information you're after.
Yeah.
I facilitated this for your character.
And I am trusting your character to ask the right questions.
I don't know which questions to ask.
You're just asking about Miss La Pan.
It's good. This is good. It's friction. You guys, you would know
what?
One person saw something, another one didn't. So you're just you're on this. So right as when the transaction's starting to like finish up, and you're talking with Mr. Green, and he's about ready to give you like the notes and everything like that. Your partner excuses himself from the table.
Harry, see what you can find out. I think I got another lead. Harry, I trust you with this.
Should I not be here for this conversation?
No, not at all, Mr. Green. Not at all.
Mr. Green, you've been very hospitable. Harry just has a couple of questions for you, and I don't want to be intimidating.
Uh-huh.
It's, don't worry about him. He's just a few fruits short of a cake.
I'm going to try and casually, but like I'm a massive panther for crying out loud, try and work my way around and then appear at Miss La Pan's side from the other side of her view. That
would be a stealth thing because it's a well lit establishment, and essentially to get I wish I had a floor plan for this, to get around her. You basically have to go onto a dance floor to get out there, which we can establish probably doesn't have a lot of cover on it. No. So okay, it's more you just blending into the crowd as a thing. It's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's more of a crowd thing. So I would say you'd be on kind of a defensive situation. No, in which case I just go straight from where I am to her. To her. Okay, so like literally looking at her the whole time.
And I'm just in work.
Yep. You're just in work. So yeah, Lena, you kind of like get a seat at the bar. Even before Larence could even come and like ask you what you want, there you just see like you do that thing where you just like, see, okay, I'm out of line of sight, and then you look back over, kind of like around the corner, you just see him coming at you, like
Matt.
Lots of swear words.
Tuesday language.
It's Tuesday. It's allowed.
Yeah. So yeah. You have a couple of seconds if you want to try anything, or
he's a lot bigger and he looks like he could catch me. So I'm not sure it's worth. I'm just gonna. Barman?
Larence like his ears immediately perk up, and he's like, and he walks over to her. Madame, what can I get you?
Mary Pickford, please.
Of course. Would you like it with your usual?
Oui, merci.
Perfect. And he turns around, picks up a fancy glass, and picks up a mixer, and like he makes a show of it. It's his job. He's not only is it his job, but he also enjoys
the show.
It. Yeah, it's the show. He enjoys it.
Yeah.
He gets the cocktail mixer and mixes it up and.
As he's shaking it, I sit down next to Miss La Pan and just go, Larence, I'll pay for that.
No, merci. I'll pay.
He doesn't say anything. He's about to say something and then he just snap. Nope.
Somebody will give you money.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. I don't care who pays for this drink, as long as it's paid for.
Yeah, if that was me, I'd just like, okay, I still need money from somebody to give you this.
Okay, listen. Somebody's going to need to pay me for this before I pour it into the glass.
Legal tender has to be placed in this hand for this drink to leave my other one.
I pay him the correct amount.
Okay.
Plus tip.
Okay, thank you for the tip, madam. And I take the tip, put the money in the till, pour the glass for her, slide it in front of her, puts the umbrella in at last, and gives her a slight nod. Let me know if you need anything else. You need another drink? I say to Roman, sitting next to her now.
No thanks, Lawrence.
You got it.
Bit of privacy would be nice.
You got it. Lawrence walks down the other end of the bar and goes back to the conversation he was having with the regular.
So, Mademoiselle La Pan.
You're the gentleman that worked for the Alderman. I don't think I got your name.
No, that's because I didn't throw it. So, had any conversations about breaking into any museums to steal any art pieces lately?
What on earth do you mean?
Oh, please don't play games with me. You're a thief, a very good thief. The dock job was impressive. I mean, you got through all those guards, over that barbed wire fence, into the safe without anyone noticing and got away with everything. That's some seriously impressive work.
Not everything.
Oh, well, you might want to keep that quiet.
I didn't take from the workers.
I'm aware of that, but I was more along the lines of you actually did the job. What concerns me is what you need the Alderman's help for. You see, it's my job to protect him.
If you're worried about me stealing something from him, that is not going to happen because I can see you cannot afford it.
No. If I was worried about you stealing from him, I'd just kill you.
I trust you to do that.
However, you are spending time with him and obviously need him to get you into somewhere or access to something. Now, I can help facilitate that, or I can help hinder that.
To begin with, I wanted to get into the mayor's house, but that did not prove profitable. It may prove profitable for him, though. So, at the moment, it is advantage both ways. He has asked me if I wished any more work. I said yes. We will see where it goes.
I mean to make things very clear for you, ma'am. You're here to talk to Mr. Green today to discuss the job you apparently priced him out of before. And if you're not here to talk about that, you're here to talk about another job. If the Alderman gets harmed financially, physically, or reputation-wise in any way, you will never be seen in this country or any other country again.
I understand. I wish to cause no harm to no one.
Fine. So, we have an accord.
I trust you to kill me, so yes.
Excellent. Now, if you need any help with this work of yours, work through me, not through the Alderman.
Very well, but I cannot do that without a name.
Well played. Roman.
First or last?
Just Roman.
Oh, so mysterious. Very well.
Enjoy your meeting, ma'am. And, Lawrence?
Yeah?
puts money from the next drink for the lady. Her next drink's on me.
You got it, Roman.
So while that's going on, back to Harry. It's just
I don't know too much more. I'm going to find out.
Yeah, it's just Mr. Green at the table. He goes, right. Do you have questions?
Yeah. It's about another enterprising entrepreneur in the area. A La Bonbon. Goes by the name La Pan. See, I just want to know what you know about La Pan. Just on the periphery, you know what I mean? I'm currently associated with someone who has interest in Miss La Pan. And,
well, I know it's a French name, and it's befitting since it means rabbit. So it kind of works. Give me a mind observation check. So you see, he knows something. He knows something. He's being surreptitious about it to not say it aloud, but he's definitely like not walking around it. He's trying not to lie, but also not tell you what's going on, which you get a sense of.
Mr. Green, respectfully, I mean no disrespect. I'm not here to give you any trouble with your business at all. You know, we thrive only because of gentlemen like you. She's a thief. We know that, all right? And she's definitely a few steps above the pecking order than me. I think we've got that firmly established. If she's going to go to anywhere, she's going to go to someone like you. Our concerns aren't with you. Our concerns are with her and her possible impact on our enterprise, or at least the enterprise of the man I'm currently associated with. So if you don't mind, if I get through all this bubble and squeak and get straight to the bare nuts of you, what do you know? And is there a price to it?
You couldn't afford anything that I put a price on.
I can't, but my associate might. I just need to know what that price was.
I don't think One, I don't think you have all the information. Two, I think you heavily overestimate what I know, what's going on here. And three, I didn't get where I was by being a rat. And when he says that a little bit too loud, you see there's like another table over there. It's just like a rat.
That's racist, sir. I'll have you know.
Who's drinking like a beer and he just goes,
what the fuck, man? Dude, yeah. Bruh, fuck.
Poor choice of words, but
have I made it back yet?
No, this is happening during that conversation. This happened during that. And also, I don't think we can call anybody. I don't think, one, definitely you can't make a distinction of someone being a thief and that being a negative point for you here. I think it's pretty much a wash when it comes to character going into this.
To clarify, he didn't use it as a negative. He was just getting straight to the bare nuts of it.
The way he said it was like, she's a thief. Like his first thought was
he
like,
was beating around the bush.
So are you?
Yes, yeah. That was part of the point. Like, you and I both know what we're actually talking about. She's a thief. She's going to come to someone like you. That was the way he was expressing it.
Okay. You're negotiating here. I think the way you're kind of going about this, that's going to be like a mind negotiation check. But he doesn't necessarily have a great opinion of you. So there's going to be a d6 negative on that. That goes to his roll. So roll yours, and then he's going to roll his. One success. He gets 2d8 and a d6. So that's a 2 for the d6. But that's double 7s for the d8. So he goes, I don't think I'm at liberty to discuss my other business dealings, Mr. I keep forgetting your name. I keep wanting to say Rome.
Neville. Think
Mr.
Neville rhymes with level.
Neville. Yeah, it doesn't help. I'm not wired like a Cockney rhyming slang speaker. Yeah, I don't think that's going to. I don't think I'm at liberty to talk about it, Mr. Neville. I think at this point we can both agree that not sharing that information is better for all of us in every case. And I believe I've helped you with what you needed done tonight. So I have another meeting to attend to. So I would prefer it if you left.
Of course, can't blame a man for trying for my current employer. Have a good evening, Mr. Green. I hope success in your next business ventures.
Gives a nod and takes a sip. By the way, just for you to know, the way this game works, there is an opinion dice that can be added to social encounters. If there's a positive opinion of you, it's a dice that's added to your rolls. If it's a negative opinion, it's a dice added to their rolls. And if you push things, like if they have negative opinion and you keep pushing after failing, the die gets larger. So it starts like a d6 and it'll keep going up to like a d12. And then it can add more die on top of that. So negatives can go that way and positives can go that way as well. So you can kind of grow either one depending on how you're going. It's kind of like a form of social combat. So he didn't have a great opinion of you to begin with. You were a work acquaintance and you kind of pushed him about some very personal information context. So that kind of put you in the doghouse when it came to his opinions. That's why you got the negative opinion. Not a lot, because it was only d6, because normally it starts at a d8, but you kind of just pushed him a little bit too far there. So he's going to continue to have that d6 until you get in his good graces again. That kind of that maintains it. So just letting you know. But okay, while that's all happening and it ends kind of around there, I need everybody just to make a mind observation check. And let me know how many successes you get.
1. I'm not the most perceptive person.
2.
More than a 3. Or is it 3 and above?
It's 3. It's above a 3.
Above a 3.
3 is above 3, so 2. Okay.
I'm 2 as well.
2D.
2. Okay. So whoever got a 3, whoever got 3 successes, which I think was it just one of you got 3 successes? So 3 successes, it's just Harry, which kind of works. Kind of works for him being kind of on edge from that conversation. Harry, you hear some commotion going on at the front door, which is kind of a little bit of ways from you, but you hear like kind of some scuffling going on outside. And the music's kind of loud in here, and the music's loud because the sound doesn't really travel out from here. So kind of keeping it loud, and it kind of echoes a little bit. But you hear just on the edge of your hearing a scuffle, and then something kind of like hitting the door. And so you have one action you can take before whatever's going to happen happens, and you won't be like surprised. So you hear like something hit a door, and you see the door. Like you hear a scuffle outside and it's something hitting the door, and then you have one thing you can do from that amount of information, and you just...
Right. Harry isn't exactly super attached to anyone or anyone at all right now. He's going to look for the the back exit and Scarpa.
Okay, it's a long way. It's a big rectangle. It's a big rectangle, and you're on like one end of it. So the back exit's on the other side. And it's a bit of a ways. There's an open dance floor with tables and stuff on kind of on the other side, and then a stage.
Okay.
On the far end.
Abandoning my drink and scarpering in that direction.
So you just hear that and you just like, drop the drink and go.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll keep that in mind. So what happens is that happens. Larence, you're like at the bar, kind of cleaning a glass. Roman, you've just gotten up to go back to Mr. Green and your associate. And Miss La Pan, you have just been threatened. Bodily. Yeah, you've just been threatened. So you're mulling that over, and what all happens is a boom kind of like cuts across everything, and you see the door. Like it's a big door. Like this is the speakeasy, so it's meant to like lock and give like people time to get out. This door is like falls off its hinges. It's got enough weight that it doesn't just break open, like break on the lock side. Like the hinge comes off on one side, it falls down, and you see 3 or 4 individuals kind of come into the basement, and they are wielding weapons. They're just like yelling aloud in various accents. They're all dressed in kind of motley clothing. They're not cops, but all of them have like a blue piece of clothing on them.
Again?
All of them have a blue piece of clothing on them, but they don't say anything like get on the ground or put all your money up or hands up or anything like that. They break in, they have a job, and they start shooting. They're just hosing the bar down.
Oh.
I turn, grab La Pan, and in one swift motion, we're up over the bar.
Well, here's the thing, though. You weren't warned ahead of time, so they get they get to like they're sweeping it across. So I'm gonna roll a die. I'm gonna see if anybody gets hit by that. There is currently 10 targets available to them. You are 3 of them. So
thanks, Harry.
7. Well, no, that's
raid. No, you just scarpered.
Raid. Yeah, that's true. Hey, it meant that he had a head start because he had one thing he could do. So it was either he bulked it or he warned people. So now he's like 10 or 15 feet further. So I'm just gonna roll this die. There's 3 of them, so they each get an attack, and I'm just gonna roll and see who gets hit. So, not you, not you, not you. So they're just sweeping with Tommy guns. They've just got Tommy guns. It's automatic fire, and like the first burst from all of them goes out. It's breaking glasses, everything. They're not really aiming for people. Looks of it, they're going for property for the most part, but 3 individuals get caught in the cross. You see one of the waitresses just get kind of like stitched and she goes down. One of the patrons at the bar doesn't even get up, like he's drinking, and he just like kind of starts looking over and he just gets hit in the back and he goes down. And another person is wounded, like another patron, and he goes like on the ground and he's like holed up behind a stool. Now you all get to react, and the way this game works is it's a side versus side. Like there is so you pick how you all go in your block, and then they will all go in their block. Okay, so that's how it works. You get to do 2 things during a turn. I will break out the rule book because we have not done combat.
We have not done the combat yet.
We have not done the combat. No, we have not. Though it's pretty simple. It's basically the same mechanics, everything. It's just everything is an opposed roll check. For in there, I am going to ask, would Larence have been armed?
100%.
Okay, Larence would have been armed.
Like, this man is not going to work not strapped.
It's true.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Would Roman have been armed?
Roman is armed at all times.
Roman is the weapon.
Roman is the weapon.
No, he's got his silenced pistol.
Right.
Yeah, that too.
Because he likes to take care of problems quietly. Especially problem rabbits.
He's also got the claws for that, though, right? Those are very silent and deadly. Red is just sitting in the corner like, fuck.
There's a reason that Lena is scared of this guy.
So
she hasn't seen what I can do
And the
yet.
fact that every time he smiles at her, she goes, "Why do I get the feeling he's going, lunch?"
So,
you would make fine rabbit hunters, yes.
So I need you all to roll initiative, except for our friend Harry Neville, because you
coward.
You got a head start.
Coward.
It's in my character sheet.
0.
Coward.
0 successes for me.
How do I roll initiative?
It's
on
in your
sheet.
other section of your
It's
sheet.
in your other section of your sheet. It's like got dodge, rally, initiative should be like somewhere on your sheet.
Just above where your weapons are and below where your soaks are.
You might not have that. You can see under your soaks. Under your
It's
soaks.
got it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You just roll that. You have a very good initiative roll score. So, okay. You just need to tell me how many successes you get in your roll.
0.
0.
None.
3. And how many did you get? Got 1. Okay. So.
Yay. I rolled poorly.
Okay. So not. Sure,
Not that great.
Or something else. Okay. So I'll say this: you're totally caught unawares with this fight. So that's what happened. You didn't expect it, except for our friend Neville. Actually, no, Neville, you do need to roll this. You do need to roll this. Now that's how the system works. So you do need to roll it. 2. Okay. Yeah. You knew this fight was going to happen, so you are not dazed because you got 2 successes and you knew the fight was going to happen. Everybody else who's totally caught unaware, unless you got 3 successes, you are dazed.
So Lana isn't, but everyone else, but the two other
Everyone,
two are.
yeah, everyone else is dazed. Dazed just means you can't counter or do stunts. You're blindsided by the attack. So that's how that goes. The way that this goes in terms of like combat, and they've just done their turns, now it's your turn. You're not like stuck not doing anything when you're dazed. It's just you can't do counter attack. So like if somebody like shoots you, you can counter with a pistol for within a certain range, or they hit you with a bar or like a pool cue or something, you can hit back. It's kind of like a counter. You don't get that option during this. So there are a whole bunch of combat actions. You get the you can do 2 things during a turn, but you can't do 2 of the same thing.
Okay.
So things that you can do during a turn is something like aim, attack, control a vehicle, equip or swap a weapon, guard, which lets you give an extra D8 to your dodge rolls, hide, move, rally, which can come in if you're like gonna run or somebody's like gotten like, panicked or something. Recover, reload, stand up, perform a stunt, and your turn dazed if you perform a stunt. Stunts, things like that aren't really covered, like if you're trying to medicine something, or you're trying to pick something off the ground during combat, stuff like that. There are a lot of these. If you're looking at the rule book has the actions listed on page 72 of the rule book actual page, instead of, I don't know what the PDF one is. So that's how that goes. And we're going to start, whoever wants to start, because it's your side's turn. And there's no like, if you can talk amongst yourselves if you want to like plan actions like, oh, I'm going to do this to set you up for that. You can do that, but you can't. Sorry, Duke. But you don't have to like set up like, you know, you have.
There's
to go
no
now.
defined initiative sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just your side's going now, then it's their side that goes. That's
All right. So who wants to go first?
Well, Harry's just going to keep running. He doesn't know you guys all that well at the minute to stand and fight. He's already started running. He doesn't have a weapon like you guys do, so he has no other motivation other than to keep running and save his behind.
Okay. You can.
Automatic weapons fire going off in the background.
Yeah.
Plus, he does have the trait coward.
It's literally just the Rattling Boys meme with the skeletons and the Tommy guns.
Well, the thing about coward is you have to use the panic. So you become panicked, and then you get the coward thing. So it's kind of basically. If you
I meant more. It's within his character. It's literally on his character sheet to run away. So he's just going to keep on running.
All right. So
this won't be the same in every combat, but in this particular instance, it makes sense that he would.
So would you say you're doing a move and then guard? Yeah. You get 2 actions. You don't have to use both actions, but you get 2 actions. So move and guard.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can claim a D8 for your dodge extra if you're doing that. Okay. Let's say. I'll just do this unless you guys have a specific plan in mind or something like that. Lena.
So she's gonna jump over the bar.
Okay.
Which she could probably do pretty easily because she gets extra D12 to jumping, I think it is. If it's a specific jump. Yeah.
I'll say it's a movement, yeah.
And then when she gets behind the bar, she's going to look for either a knife or a bottle just to sort of poke if someone comes close to her, but she isn't going to go out of her way to attack.
Okay, so you're going to move over to the bar, or move over the bar in the back, and you're trying to just get a weapon. You're trying to equip a weapon.
Yeah, so it's either a bottle or if there's a knife behind there for cutting lemons, or...
I'd say you can find a bottle. That would be easy enough to do. Let's say so you move and equip, and you're just equipping a bottle weapon, which actually has stats in the game. So you've got a bottle, and you're teed up there. So Larence
is going to do the probably craziest thing he could do. He's going to produce his pistol, point it at one of them, and shoot.
Okay, so you're just gonna equip and attack.
Yep.
Okay. Just know that if you aim, you get an extra D8 on the attack roll. Is a thing that you get. But aiming is an action.
Yeah, so, like I have to pull the pistol out is the problem. I don't have it equipped in my hand, so
yeah. Yeah. See, the thing is concealed weapons require an equip action to get out.
Because it's not like he can't just be open carrying a pistol in a speakeasy. So, well, he could probably, but at the same time, it wouldn't be great.
Yeah. So you can whip it out and start shooting with your 45.
Yeah, he's trying to provide a little bit of cover fire because like everyone he's just shouting at everyone to get out, move.
Okay. And people are starting to do that. So you target one of them. They take they essentially, the way that attacks work in this game is you shoot. I'm just trying to find it here. It's hard to kind of work through this. If you attack, you declare somewhere around here. You attack, which you know how to roll because you've got that all set up.
Yeah.
So you can.
I'll be right back. I need to go get something to eat because the food I ordered never turned up. I've been trying to call them at times and they've not been answering, so I won't be ordering there again. So I need to go find something to eat. I'm starving.
All right. Well, you took your action, so you can go do that. Yeah, that's fine. This is I would say this is a short range, so up to 10 meters away. Short range. And so how to attack? You're doing that. Attack. Speed and evasion. So they'll roll their speed and evasion check, and we compare on how many successes each one got.
All right. So I'm rolling my attack. That's it. And they're rolling speed evasion.
Yes. Your attack should be set up on your.
It is. I have it set up here, so I can just roll that now.
Yep. It's close.
That is 2 successes.
2 successes. Well, remember, because if you tie, 3s also matter as well.
All right, so I have a tie and 2 successes.
Let's see, they're rolling 2d8s for the one you're targeting. It's 2 3s, which fail.
Bang bang.
So that means 2 successes get through.
Yeah.
So that's 2 points of damage plus the damage a pistol normally does.
Which is 2 for me because it's a service pistol.
So that is 4 damage.
Yeah.
4 damage. So they've got that. Now they have to take soaks or they take damage.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They can roll their body and endurance die to see if they succeed.
Soak it. Yeah.
And soak it. So they're going to do that. And these guys have d8s and everything. There. That's 2 4s. They succeed. Both of those.
So they soak 2, but take 2.
And there's 2 still outstanding. And they're just basic goons, so they wouldn't really have anything. They could take... Yeah, they can't really do that. So they take 2 damage. And the thing about this is any damage that goes through... If you have 1 point of damage on a target, use that plus any bonuses. It's damage. I'm pretty sure if it's just any damage gets through, you just immediately go down.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why having a lot of soaks helps.
Yeah, no, it does. It does, which is why you have more, because you can take like injured and pan.
Yeah, I'm a soldier, so I get 3. I get 3 different soaks.
Plus your body and endurance die, which are also soaks. Yeah. So yeah, you fire and like
center mass, just bang bang bang.
Bang bang. Yeah, this is true. Oh, and remember, one of those die, which is the D4, is your
ammo die.
Ammo die, which was not a 1, so it doesn't empty.
Actually, no, that should be a D6 for me because I have the ammo conservation from being a soldier.
Well, then you should put that in there in the future. But it wasn't a 1, so that doesn't go down a die.
No. That first dice is my speed dice. The last dice is my ammo dice.
Okay, well, none of those was a 1, so you should keep that in mind. So you did that, you fired, one of them just gets hit like 2 times in the chest, and they just like sink down to onto the ground, and they start to like you can just see them starting to like pivot towards you.
They're like, oh, he's dangerous.
Yeah, he's dangerous. So that happens. Now, Roman, it's your turn.
Thank you. I was going to grab the bunny and throw her over the bar, but she took care of that herself. So I will vault over the bar and relinquish my pistol from its hiding place.
Okay, which is so. Just remember, you have 2 things you can do. Movement is the thing, and
taking the weapon out is yes.
So you won't do anything.
No, I can't do it. No.
Okay, so yeah, you vault over and you're starting to get it out. You're bringing out the pistol. Okay. So
well, both of us are behind the bar at least, so there's some cover.
Yeah, there's some cover. They don't have any cover. So you do that. Everybody else who is not PCs in here are running.
Yep.
They're running. They're trying to get out, and now it's the blue boys' turn. So they saw that happen, and they've decided you need to stop. So you need to stop doing that.
Stop that bullshit.
Yeah, you need to stop. So, one of them is going to aim and shoot.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be Larence because of the because you did just kill one of them.
I literally just put one of them in a grave.
Yeah, you literally just killed one. So I just need to check a Tommy Gun's stats here.
Probably pretty big considering. Then again, we're shooting the same round, funnily enough.
Yeah, Tommy Gun, yeah.
Oh my goodness, he's back.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, so
Welcome back,
Tommy
Atari.
Gun. Oh, they could have countered actually at medium range with that. That was the thing they could have done, but I think you caught them unawares. So they get speed, mind, shooting, and a D6 ammo. So they've got D8, D8, and a D6.
I cannot get my camera to work.
Did you not leave the lens cap on it?
I've taken the lens cap off.
Huh. So Mikey, you need to. You're going to be taking.
It's speed evasion, right?
Speed evasion. You didn't take a guard or a dodge or anything like that. But you are getting cover from the bar, which is a D6 on top of that. So
all right, so it's for me then. It's a D4 plus a D6 because I don't have.
Just to let you know, they got just to let you know the other thing. They got a double 7 and a 6 for their rolls. You could counter. Countering means because you're a pistol. Actually, I'm pretty sure a service pistol, short range. I said it was short range, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so you could counter this with a shot of your own, if you think you have a better shot at it.
I definitely have a better shot at hitting them than I do of actually dodging. Is the funny thing.
And the way this works is whoever has the most successes in the attack, they're the ones that get their attack through.
Okay, so it's a D4 plus a D6 versus a D4, a D6, a D8, and a D6. I think I have more chances there of getting more than 3 successes.
Counter then. You got to beat 3 successes. He's got 2 7s and a 6.
Oh, I got 2 and 2 ties, which doesn't count.
Doesn't count. So he got, so the way that works is essentially he got 2 7s. He got 2 successes. So that's 2 through and plus 2 extra damage for the Tommy gun.
Right. So now I got a soak, which is body
endurance.
Okay.
Body endurance. You can roll that.
That's a fail. That's a tie. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Endurance. That's a fail.
That's a fail. So now you gotta try and soak. You gotta try and soak 4 damage. You can't let any through.
Oh, I can do that. I can take hurt and I can take winded. I still have a soak left.
Okay, so you make sure you can only do those like once.
Yeah, I'm putting a 1 in my thing is saying that I've used those today.
Okay. So yeah, what basically you all see is this guy just kind of sweeps with shots through. Larence, you like counter trying to like pin him down, but he just doesn't care, and you just gets stitched up an arm, and you go down a bit. You're still in the fight, but you're hurt now.
Yeah,
you're hurt, and that's kind of the way that works. Next one, he is going to not fire at a person right now because he has a mission to do. That was a counterattack. He sweeps his Tommy gun over and he kind of like peppers the wall that's got a lot of the the radio and all that down. He's just like peppering that. He's destroying property.
Yeah.
So he does that. Music cuts out because the music's gone at that point. He does that shooting and then he gets out. Like he brings the gun up at that point, starting to get low, and it kind of like he's backing out to get out of the bar. Kind of like behind the one that's still shooting and kind of laying down fire.
So that's their turn. Now it's our turn.
Yeah, he backed out, I'd say, because he shot and he's moving. He's probably in the door frame at this point to get out. At that point, because you can move up to like short range without doing rolls or anything like that. So that happens. Harry, I'll say, are you just gonna keep moving?
Yep.
All right. Another movement. You're most of the way to the door at this point. Guard action to guard yourself. Lena, you see Larence like essentially like get hit in front of you, but he's still up.
Because he's at the moment, the 2 people in the bar beside her are her best options for getting out safely, because they're the ones with weapons. So she's going to try and find a rag, swallow her fear, and sort of try and staunch the wound a bit on Larence. I don't know whether that's an actual thing.
I could check the rally action. That might work. He's. Yes, let me check the rally action. You can get rid of the day. Yeah, you can rally them because you can get rid of the day's status if you wanted to do that.
Okay, it's not good. My rally is not good. But she's going to give it a go.
Yep.
So is it just rally, or is it rally?
It's just rally. Your whatever is your rally should have both of those dice in there already. So.
Oh, I have the wonderful thing that while I was out, apparently something fused in my room, and I can't turn on half my lights, and that's why my camera wasn't working. So
nice. Well, it was a good thing it wasn't the PC. I'll say
it's a USB extender, and I think it's literally the plug adapter bit to how it's working, which is how I've got the camera back on. But
oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. You roll your will tactics dice versus 3. So will tactics dice is what you're rolling.
Well, my will, I don't have anything in tactics, and my will is exactly the same die as my rally.
Yeah, because
they're both equals.
Then you succeed then, because a 3 is what you were trying to do.
Yeah, because I think it actually takes those dice naturally and puts them together. Because for me, my dodge is already what my speed is, and my initiative is already what that is.
When we made this, because I didn't do that. I didn't program this that well.
Listen, we did it. We did it ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We went through this ourselves. We built it.
So what happens to you, Larence, is you're kind of like bandaged up. It's not enough to actually like fix the hurt condition, but it kind of like snaps you back into it, and you are no longer dazed. Dazed does not go away unless you are
rallied.
Unless you're rallied, which means you shouldn't have actually been able to do the counter. But fuck it, it's this is the first time we've done a combat, so that's how that works. So you do so you're kind of you're snapped out. You're no longer dazed. Things come kind of hyper focused again. Roman, what are you doing?
Mute.
Aiming and shooting.
Aiming, shooting. So you get an extra D8 on top of your attack die. I think this guy's going to counter with the one guy who's still there. He's going to counter with his machine gun.
Which one?
I don't know.
It should be in your weapon section.
Your weapon section, silence pistol, bottom. You roll the dice that are in there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get an extra D8.
And you get an extra D8 on top of that, yes.
Yeah, the fact that this plug smells like solder is probably not a good sign.
No, probably not a good sign.
Probably not.
Ooh, okay.
So who are we killing? Who have I missed?
You'll need to rewatch the tape.
Okay. You need to rewatch the tape. The ammo die. Okay, so he got 3 successes. You got 3 successes, and his successes beat yours for the counter. But they equal each other out because he's the defender. So the way that works is nothing happens. Essentially, you just you're both shooting at each other, and his shots are kind of like throwing your shots off, and your shots are throwing his off. So neither of you can provide effective fire, but you're just kind of shooting at each other at this point. He's countering through that, but you did get, like, there was another chance for him to be out of ammo at this point, which they haven't gotten close to yet. It's 1920s. It's bottomless.
It's noir.
Feed.
It's noir.
It's the bottomless feed of gunfire. So that's the end of your guys' turn.
I haven't went.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. So what do you do?
So I assume I got clipped in like my gun arm that I'm holding the gun in right now. So like Lana's holding a bandage to my like right arm.
Well, I was just saying it was your off arm. It was like you were out like this.
No. This is cool. This is cool. Let me do this.
Okay.
So she's holding the cloth to his arm, and he just tosses the gun up a little, grabs it in his left, points it at the dude in the door, takes an aim action, and then fires.
Okay, you get an extra D8 for your attack. Go ahead and roll.
Right. Attack roll is not terrible, and D8. So that's 3 successes and a tie, if that matters.
He's just gonna roll his defense. Okay, yeah, you beat him by 2.
All right, fantastic.
You beat him by 2, which is an extra 2 on top there, so that's 4.
So 4 damage again.
4 damage again. He's gonna roll his
body.
Defense,
yeah,
body and endurance. That's only one success. And
so another guy goes bang, bang, bang. He's down.
He has no soaks on there because he's just a dirty minion. So you essentially he hits the door frame, just like shots going out, and then one just like it goes right into his back, and he just like kind of falls forward onto the ground. And yeah,
you think you can fuck up my bar?
Yeah, so you do that, and then it's their turn now. They're going to, the last one alive who's just been kind of putting out cover fire. He sees both people down. He goes ahead and takes the panic action, which means he has like a D12 on top of his body endurance die, but he also gets to move like double speed out. So essentially he panic runs out of the bar. So he can go that distance. He's gonna roll a speed die to see if he can go further. He gets a 7, which means he succeeds. He goes.
Can this be countered?
No, because he's not taking an action that's a counterable action. A counterable action would be something that's like an offensive thing. So during his action, he panics, runs, and by the time it goes around to your turn, you hear a truck engine like rev up and start getting quieter. But everybody's moving out, like leaving at this point. Like even the people that work there, they're trying to get out because this is like cop calling level bad.
I like look to La Pan and say in perfect French, "Thank you," and then I jump over the bar and check the waitress who is clipped, see if she's still alive or if she's not.
She got hit, but she's hit in the arm, and she's got she's holding it, and she's trying to get out as well.
Yeah, and the guy who got clipped at the bar as well, not the guy who's dead, but the other guy. Is he there?
Oh, the
still?
Other guy, he already left. Most of the people that could get out that were mobile at that point were already trying to leave.
Yeah, I'm making sure there's nobody left there who's actually still able of still alive.
We're not in combat. We're not in combat anymore, by the way. So, so the initiative goes away at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially, what you all know immediately, because put you in the mind of somebody from the 1920s, everything like that. There was just a major crime that occurred, possibly at least one murder, in a speakeasy that you were at. So you're at triple jeopardy right now. You've got you can plausible deniability if you've got a gunshot wound. You can say, I was outside, they clipped me on the outside or something like that. But if you're in this bar, when the cops come here, you got no way out.
Larence has some plausible deniability because he's currently got a bloody arm or something like that.
Yeah, so basically everybody and the owner who was there, they're just getting everybody out. He doesn't want anybody in this bar.
I'm gonna take the Tommy gun that one of the guys left.
Okay, yeah, you could do that. It's technically not illegal to own one. You shouldn't have it out, but yeah, it's technically.
I'm grabbing the other.
Yeah, we're both taking the Tommy guns.
So you both take the Tommy guns. You don't have a lot of ammo for them. They're almost empty.
I have already got 4 or 5 STP, so
Yeah.
You might want to leave.
I am.
Thanks.
Yeah, Mr. Green, by the way, is completely gone. He took an immediate panic action, double dash run, out. I think he got there before, almost at the same time Roman got to the door. Just straight past you.
Harry not one of the first out?
Yeah, Harry. No, Harry. That's what I meant. He got there just about the same time as Harry got to the door. It was almost 1 for 1. He took the immediate panic action to run. Was his thing. So he got more movement.
Yeah, when I'm checking the ammo count in the barrel I assume it's the disc from.
Don't check down the barrel, mate. That's the wrong end to check for the ammo.
Yeah. He's a soldier. He knows what he's doing. I'm stupid.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You check the drum.
I check the drum.
I don't think there's rifing in it.
Bang, 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 bang. Anyway.
Yeah. They're almost empty, and you can definitely tell from the times that you were. I'm just gonna put just some basic music on. That music down a little bit. The object here didn't seem to be an individual. Hold on. The object didn't seem to be shooting at individuals or to kill. It looked like they came in here to hit the operation. and that's what's been wrecked right now. Like almost all the bottles on the bar and everything like that are blown open or cracked, and like there's liquor and alcohol like just on the ground, like spilling out everywhere. And this is gonna really hurt the operations of the Red Diamond. But you all vacate with your stolen goods if you have any, but just get out of there.
They weren't going to use them anymore.
So they definitely
True.
weren't, except for one of them. But he kept his.
Lena's just going to go to Larence. My name is Lena, by the way.
I know. Nice to finally meet you, he replies in perfect French.
You speak French?
There's a lot of things people don't seem to know about me, mademoiselle.
That's good to know.
Hopefully I won't meet you in this kind of situation again.
That would be preferable. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
So.
Larence.
Yep.
You need someone to patch that up?
I should be alright. It's only a clip.
Alright. Lay low. I'll be in touch.
Of course you will.
Okay. So you all just had the equivalent of, and a man comes into screen shooting, essentially just happened. No, you did recognize it because at least the 3 people that were at the previous mission on the docks, you recognize those individuals, not the individuals specifically, but their garb. They definitely look like the Blue Boys, who are a criminal element that operates on the river, and have a lot of hands in kind of the speakeasy kind of scene. They definitely do a lot of gin running, that kind of stuff. So I definitely know Roman. You'd know this is a pretty extreme step for them. The thing is, Tricogha is actually for a city with a lot of crime families. It's fairly peaceful. Everybody has their own like little domains worked out at this point. But something's got to be kind of shaking things up for this to happen again. Like this is like early Prohibition era kind of tactic that has kind of not happened for a while. That went through. But I'm assuming everybody kind of starts like coalescing back to their locations where they sleep, because it's late at night. You've all just been shot at,
or shot,
or was shooting. And I'll say it's probably, and you also got to lay low because there's a chance, it wasn't too far along before you heard whistles and sirens down the road. So, let's say you all go to bed. Before that, I actually need push to talk, rival. Push to talk.
I was actually pushing that. It was the wrong button though.
Is there anything you else wanted to do before you?
Yeah, I wanted to report into the boss.
The boss is not in when you get home. That's something we'll cover next week.
Next time on Tricogha Nights.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's the thing. So yeah, he's not home when you get in. Whether or not that's something that's you want to like stay up or deal with, we can maybe cover that later. But I do need 2 people to roll dice right now.
Oh.
I need. Actually, no, I just need 1 because the other one's not sleeping right now. So yeah, I just need Larence to roll a d6. I need you to add 3 to it.
D6 plus 3?
Yes.
4. I rolled a 1. Yeah. Of course I did.
Wasn't good. Okay.
Nope.
So Larence, you've just been through. It's a hell of a night. It's probably the first time you've fired a weapon in years.
Maybe.
That's a different thing for you. Getting used to that. And because of that recent violence, it takes you a little bit long, and the pain of the wound of your arm. It takes a long time for you to get to sleep that night. It's you've got to really kind of wear yourself out. And even then, kind of like your mind, just the rushing of memories. And in many cases, you want to leave undisturbed. Keep coming back, because that's a... But eventually, the wave of fatigue kind of wins out over that mind. Kind of quiets. Can we go to, by the way, a one-on-one shot?
Already have.
Okay.
Already have.
Thank you. But fatigue wins out to your racing mind and you go to sleep. In the empty blackness of sleep, maybe for a moment, maybe for a couple of hours, you just kind of float. You know, unaware of time, just black. No dreams come to you in that blackness. Until almost infinitely far away, you see dim flashes far away, and then sounds of thunder that become very familiar to you in a faraway, muddy field, an old, worn-out dugout. I should have had this prepared, but I didn't. So, I'm bad.
Larence is wearing his tartan uniform, standard Foreign Legion colors, single stripe on the arm. He's clutching his 1866 label.
Oh, hold on. Almost without you noticing, the infinite blackness resolves into a sight that fills you with equal parts familiarity and equal parts terror. A trench. It's late at night. Rain falls down from the sky, and both natural thunder and the thunder of artillery mixes in the air with equal parts. Deep in the back of your mind, you know there's something important that you have to do. It claws at your consciousness, begs to be remembered. Can you go ahead and roll a mind... hold on. Can you go ahead and roll a mind presence check?
Okay. Could I add my personality to this? Jaded.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I probably did. 1 success.
Okay. Sound good for everybody? Just double checking. I want the atmosphere good for this. Suddenly, you realize the weight in your hands. Looking down, you see you're armed. Port arms. It's out. Your lapel.
Yep.
Your long lapel. The bayonet attached, reaching out. The bayonet's the wrong color. In the wavering darkness, in the storm, you can make out a hue of crimson coating the blade. Drips of blood coming down from the tip. Fresh. A body only a few feet in front of you in the trench sits half submerged in mud and water. A cat wearing a gray uniform. Blood in the pool. Memories rush back at once. You were sleeping. But then you heard a thump, the sound, a German soldier dropping into a trench. The struggle, the victory. It's the middle of a raid. No one sounded the alarm.
Larence points his rifle straight up and pulls the trigger.
Flash forward. The rain's coming down harder now. Water fills the trenches up to your mid-calf. You've been fighting. There's a half dozen of you. It's been a battle. Everybody's in French uniforms. The Adrian helmet upon their heads, the sky blue of their uniforms standing out against the dark mud. You can't make out faces. There's split seconds in the lightning where you see faces resolve, but then go back out of focus in an inky black. One comes up to you. Little blood on their uniform. You recognize them. They're speaking French, so I'm not going to use an accent. Because that wouldn't be good. That's not the last of them. The voice resolving. You recognize it. Joseph. It's a friend you've known since you were first deployed here. But it's weird. No matter the amount of light, his face never comes. It's always shadowed. They push far this time. We're gonna have to root them out.
Fix bayonets.
Flash forward. 1 or 2 in the morning, the darkest time of night. The rain won't stop. You don't know how far away from the front line you are. You've had to go back into trenches. They won't stop. They've been moving forward, away from the line, but you just keep coming across bodies, rear guards, communications, trenches, lines cut. Flash again. You're in the middle of a fight. There's another individual in front of you. They don't have a gun, neither do you. They've got a spiked maul, homemade. They're only lit by the flashes of artillery in the distance and the lightning. And they're coming at you.
Larence takes the hit to the face, cutting open his nose, down his cheek, and under his eye socket. He comes back up, grabs his knife from his boot, stabs it straight up through the guy's jaw, and into his nose, and into his brain, lifts him clean off the ground, and drops him, standing there retching from the pain of his face being cut open.
The memory goes hazy. You stand and you look back to the body. German soldier that left you scarred. The one you killed. And all you see looking back at you, fully lit, as if from a different time and a different date. During the middle of the day, you see Joseph, pristine light, but with unblinking eyes. The light having left them, looking back at you. And the dream ends.
Larence wakes up screaming.
And I think we'll end the game there. I think we're good.
Cool.
Whoa. Okay. It seems I missed one hell of a session tonight. I hope you guys, though, watching enjoyed tonight's episode of Tricogha Nights. I'm going to have to go rewatch what the hell happened. Or maybe I won't, because it'll be better for in-character knowledge. Who knows? So, well... Sorry, I'm just recovering from the darkness I just listened to. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. As always, thank you to Commissar Roach for writing and GMing this game. You can find him at youtube.com/Commissar Roach. I've also been joined by the fantastic Surelyonlymikey. Big extra props for him tonight, controlling most of the stream. Epic work. Thank you so much, my dude. I will go back and check and see if you made any mistakes, just because that's the kind of guy I am. We've also had the awesome UtariOnzo. You can catch him at YouTube. Twitch.tv/UtariOnzo. Same with Mikey. Surelyonlymikey. Get him on Twitch. And I've also got the fantastic duo, RivalZoneGaming and Red Moogle from RivalZoneGaming. You can get them at youtube.com/RivalZoneGaming and the same on Twitch. I have been Midgeman. This has been the Component Cast, and we will see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.